Councilman Brian Miller from the new 122nd District, wishing you an amazing and happy 2023. And I know it's going to be much, much better than 2022. Again, Happy New Year.
From the Utica Chamber of Commerce and Town Square Media.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope.
Nuh-uh.
Oh no, he's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Hi, I'm Lynn from Warner Sales and Service. Winter in central New York can be pretty unpredictable. Snow, freezing temperatures, or hazardous road conditions. You never know what to expect. One thing you can count on, though, is that Warner Sales and Service is here to help you get through the toughest part of the year. That's why we sell and service Bobcat equipment. It's the toughest and most trusted equipment on the market. We pride ourselves on the quality of our product and, most importantly, the quality of our service. It's our job to keep your businesses up and running, and we strive to go above and beyond for each and every one of our customers. You never know what to expect during winter, but you can always depend on us at Warner Sales and Service. Stop by and see us just off Route 365 in Rome. We are Warner Sales and Service, where quality still counts.
Building relationships, building trust. Warner Sales and Service. Warner's, where quality still counts. At Warner's.
At Shulman and Rosansky Family Dentistry, we know it's a new year. Time to lose weight and start things that you keep putting off, like fixing your smile.
I'm Andrew Rosansky, inviting you to start the year with a new smile. This is the year to get those crowns, veneers, braces, and yes, fillings too. Let me help you start the year smiling.
Get a new smile at Shulman and Rosansky Family Dentistry, 1 Paris Road, New Hartford, and online at uticasmiles.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, it's Friday, Super Bowl weekend. Anything else? So there are a few games to talk about. The Comets are home tonight after their All-Star break and all of that. We have a big comedian in here this morning. Karen Runtowski is doing for Valentine's weekend. It's a great couples thing, or quadruples. Go with 4 people. In fact, Davey, you will be taking advantage of it as well this weekend.
Yeah,
a nice little romantic evening with psychic comedy.
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Karen Rontowski will be in studio here this morning. We'll speak with her. A week from today, it'll be Jimmy in studio. And he'll do his national show from WIBX's studios. Excited about that. And I have to tell you, that show is completely sold out. However, we do have a way for you to get a pair of tickets.
And he promoted it yesterday, too, that all 5 shows are sold out.
He loves saying that.
And he said, if you want to come up, just show up and have a drink with your favorite talk show host. Belly up to the bar, we'll have a drink.
I'm telling you, even if you can't get into the show, if you showed up over at Tony's Pizza on Friday night or Saturday night, you'd be able to mingle with him. Okay, so here's what we have for a pair of tickets. This is for Friday night's show at 7 o'clock for Jimmy Fallon. Real Men Get Tested for Cancer, Tim Reed, Mohawk Valley Garden, and the Utica Comets are auctioning off 1 pair of Jimmy Fallon tickets at Fat Cats Comedy Club for Friday night, a week from tonight at 7 p.m. We're auctioning them off with the bidding starting right now, and I figured we'd just start the bidding, Davey. What do you want to do, $100?
For what?
We'll start the bidding for the Jimmy Fallon tickets.
Oh, sure.
I know we were going to go high, but let's start it off at $100.
Okay.
Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's start the bidding at $100. Now, you'll call Davey. Explain how that'll work, Davey. You dial up the number 315-736-0186, and you say...
I say WIBX Keeler Show.
That's
How
what
can
he
I help
does.
you?
That's how he answers the phone. And then you say, I want to make a bid. And Davey will take that bid down. On Valentine's Day at 9 a.m. at the end of the program, we'll take the top bidder, and you will receive the following. Right now, the bidding begins at $100, so we'll need at least a $100 bet. But this is what, or a bid, at least this is what you'll receive. A pair of Jimmy Fallon tickets for Friday night at 7 o'clock. You'll receive 4 Utica Comets tickets, 4 Utica Pioneers playoff tickets, and that is, of course, pending, but we're pretty confident they're going to make the playoffs. 4 Utica City FC tickets, a $250 gift card to Utica Fun and Food. That's good to be used at any of the restaurants associated with the Comets. Aquavino, 72 Tavern and Grill, Babes, Cookies, concessions at Nexus and the Adirondack Bank Center. You could also use it inside, I believe, their gift shop. So you could get some merch as well. That's a $250 gift card. A table to any table for 6 to any upcoming Fat Cats Comedy Club after Jimmy Fallon. And in addition to that, Tim Reed from Real Men Get Tested. And that message is very simple. Guys, get out there and get tested. Catching cancer early is what saves lives. Tim will match the total bidding. So if the final bid was $100, Tim would match that. If it's $500, Tim would match that. Pretty awesome. Thank you, Tim Reed. So I'm going to ask you, that's where we are. It's a pretty darn good test, a package, and we're dealing with a lot. I mean, you're going to be going to a lot of shows and sporting events. Oh, and I didn't even mention the My Fair Lady tickets, Broadway Utica My Fair Lady tickets. So there you
there's
have
a ton
all
of stuff. Obviously, if you're looking for stuff to do weeknights, weekends, you're providing food as well. So it's
and it's spread out. You can say I'll go to a Comets game in April. I'll do the Pioneers coming up in March. I'll do et cetera, et cetera. Or the other thing you can do is let other people use those tickets too. Maybe I'm not going to go to this event, but you can take my tickets for this. But again, the bidding begins at $100 for this. It's a steal and a half right now. 315-736-0186. and Davey's ready to take care of you. Up on our website at WIBX950.com, you can check out the Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers Wanted Person of the Week, which is up there. Each week we do this, and it gives you the opportunity to maybe call in if you have any knowledge, call in and give a tip to authorities. If it leads to an arrest, there could be a reward. Davey, you're raising your hand. You know something about the person that is wanted by... Okay.
I'm not raising my hand about that.
Okay, all right. Okay, you okay in there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you were just keeping warm?
Yeah.
I think he's trying to reach you. I'll shut your mic off. So, Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers this week is looking for the following. It's Oneida City Police. They're looking for a 52-year-old male named Leonard Michael Vincent, who failed to appear for sentencing, according to Sergeant Mike Burgess of the Oneida City Police Department. Vincent is wanted on 2 warrants issued in Madison County. The full story and photo and all the description and all of that is up on our website at WIBX950.com. I can't believe, here's another story up there this morning. It's the scam reported by Sheriff Rob Mashel yesterday. I can't believe somebody fell for this.
I know, and apparently it's something that it's believed this family, I think, has rolled out this scam at parking lots across the country, if you will. It's not known if they're still in the area or if they've moved on to someplace else. But basically a person saying, look, we lost our wallet, we lost our money, we're trying to get back home. Essentially, can we pawn you this jewelry? And then if we owe you more money, we'll make it up to you when we get home. And obviously that's the scam.
Well, they're saying you can keep the jewelry as collateral, and as soon as we get back from Florida, we'll give you the money, and then please give us back our much more valuable jewelry. The problem is the jewelry's probably not much more valuable.
No.
It's probably garbage. And they even have kids in I believe it's an SUV, that are sitting in the car, and he points out the kids, see, there's my family right there.
Yeah.
So please give me the money. And the person who reported this to police fell for it. Gave him $1,300.
Yeah.
How do you fall for that?
I guess
I don't mean to. How do you fall for that?
A completely different circumstance, and by volume, much more so. Here's what I mean. I had somebody approach me at a gas station with I work outside of Syracuse. I left my wallet at work. I'm never going to make it back home. And I ended up giving the guy $5, okay? This was a few years ago. I saw the same guy like a week later at the same gas station, and he approached me with the same routine, and I was like, oh, he got me.
Yeah.
And I was so angry, I actually, said, get away from me.
I would have been like, no, I want my $5 back that I gave you last week.
I should have said that. But
now,
I got caught up in the story.
Jeff,
there was a tone in his voice.
Jeff, that's $5. There's
True.
no loss here.
You're right.
You lose $5. What are you going to do?
The only thing I can think of is that it's you hear the tone, the inflection, I really need help. We really need help. My kids are right there. Will you help us?
Now maybe you're someone that maybe this person is someone that $1,300 feels like $5 to them, right? What's $1,300? Maybe they're saying, listen, luckily I didn't give him the $20,000 he was asking for. I only gave him $1,300. What's $1,300 if you lose it? Now maybe this person has that ability and that bank account, but I highly doubt it. You're giving them $1,300. You think you have valuable jewelry. You don't.
No.
The
victim, I believe, realized very soon after he made the exchange that he had kind of been taken for a ride, if you will, and reached
I
out
wonder
to
what
police.
made him think that.
Yeah.
And he must have handed over $1,300 in cash.
Right.
Well, I just got, it just so happens I've got some cash in my pocket. Here's $1,300. I just don't know, and maybe there's more to that than we know. But please do not fall for these stories. These people they're lying, and they're going to tell the same story in another parking lot later on in the afternoon. Or as Manaski says, they might just forget where they've been and come back to the same place and try to run the trick all over again and get away with it. So that full story and the beautiful jewelry, valuable jewelry that was offered up as collateral. A picture of that is up on our website at WIBX950.com.
Comment here. My parents did too. Man asking for money and baby food at Price Chopper in Rome. No names. So that's.
But how much do they give, though?
Right. No, I understand your point. It's a significant.
I mean,
amount
if you
of money.
give $20, I'm like, okay, you gave them $20. You got screwed. What are you gonna do? But $1,300. Now you're getting into some real money.
So, and I would have to imagine too that who's got that money on them? Like it was probably let me go to the ATM.
I know a lot of people that carry cash on it.
Wow, that much.
Carry
Wow.
a lot of cash. Yeah, and especially he might have been coming from the casino. He might have had a good day at the casino and walked out with a couple $1,000s.
Well, then maybe it was like $5.
And maybe he felt like, you know what? I just won $5,000 at the casino. Here's $1,300. Maybe that's what he thought. But apparently it bothered whoever this is enough to be like, wait a minute, I've been scammed, and to call authorities.
Yeah.
This weekend is Super Bowl weekend, and Patrick Mahomes, as much as I don't like him, probably deservingly won the MVP award for the season. Would you agree with that?
Oh, geez.
And Dable deservingly won Coach of the Year. I believe so. Who do you think, Davey, should be Coach of the Year?
It should be Dable.
Okay.
But I don't
All right.
agree with Patrick Mahomes as the MVP.
Who should be the MVP?
Josh Allen.
Nah,
I don't think
know.
so. Josh Allen didn't get it done.
Well, I'm just saying because I'm a diehard Bills fan.
Okay,
I'm
all
just
right,
biased.
all right.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
there's no way Josh Allen should have been
Well, I'm just saying.
MVP. But okay, I get it. Fair enough. You're sticking with your guy.
Right.
All right. Good for you. But I
That's
don't know
funny.
who else.
I'm a homer.
Who else would be? Who else should be the quarterback of the year or the MVP of the year?
I mean, look, you could make an argument for Joe Burrow. Obviously, they did go down to Kansas City, and would be in their spot if they could have knocked off Patrick Mahomes.
But didn't get it done.
Yeah.
So,
But this is supposedly a regular season award.
Right.
Supposedly the votes have all been cast long before conference championship weekend and certainly before
okay. All right.
Super Bowl weekend.
And the other part of this is that I just think Mahomes. Well, let's see if he's limping around the field and pulling off one of these. I can barely walk, but look at me. I'm out here not only throwing the ball, but I'm running for 25 yards and allowing someone to push me out of bounds. So I add another 15 to it.
I see Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott named the 2022 Walter Payton Man of the Year. Jerry Jones said, "Can't we just get a couple more touchdowns in the postseason?"
That's it. This Man of the Year crap, I don't care about.
You'll be my Man of the Year.
And if you want to stay within sports, at the 43rd Annual Thurman Munson Awards dinner on Tuesday night, Munson's widow, Diana, went on stage and talked to the crowd and said that it is long overdue. Her husband should be enshrined in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Would we all agree with that?
Certainly make a really strong case for it.
Yeah, I think she is absolutely correct. Of course, Munson dying in a plane crash back in 79?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But on this date in history, I don't know if I have the audio, so I won't do it yet. I'll do it in a little while. I have some props bets, too, that are pretty wild and crazy that we can get to. Out of Syracuse, the Syracuse area, this happened, and this affected people locally here as well. Truck drivers, tow truck drivers as well locally participated in this protest. About 13 tow trucks lined up the Onondaga Lake Parkway last night in response to the plan to drop charges against a man who was driving under the influence of 4 drugs when he fatally struck tow truck driver Israel Martinez, who was just out doing his job. So it was determined that he was under the influence of 4 different drugs. A prosecutor said it could not be proven that the drugs impaired his driving. But what about vehicular manslaughter?
Right.
I mean, the way the vehicular laws are, the rules of driving on the road. You see a deer, you swerve to the left, and you've entered another lane. You've broken the law.
Right.
Or
you're at fault.
You
for that
go off
accident,
the shoulder. There's some ticket for that. I mean, there's a ticket for everything. And, you've seen cases where people, well, this person was speeding, going a little too fast. Well, we're going to hit him with vehicular manslaughter. But in this case, the man is 76 years old. He was on the drugs, and it's been determined that he had a brain tumor. So I would think that the decision to drive would be the mistake.
Yeah.
And under our laws, I don't know how they're not charging this person with vehicular manslaughter. Now, should we send the person off to jail? I don't think so. But I don't know how you don't at least charge them by law with that charge. But again, I'm no attorney, so I guess I don't know. But, here we are, almost it seems, and this is what these truckers are saying, is that you're allowing the fact that the man is 76 years old and he has a tumor. You're allowing that and that sympathy to allow you to not form a charge.
Well, it's interesting, and the circumstance of the crash was
the guy was doing his job along the side of the road, and the vehicle came up and hit the driver. So there were about a dozen tow truck drivers that came out and lined up their vehicles in protest. The drivers plan to return a message to the DA's office that there should have been a charge here.
Interesting. And
I guess the
an
question would be if
yeah.
it was you, and if it was anyone really, and you're under the influence of those medications, even if prescription, you have to know when it's okay and when it's not okay to drive.
Yeah, and I wonder if there's a warning on those medications.
I think there's a warning on. Yeah, have you seen the commercials on TV? Usually the warning's longer than the commercial.
Well, certainly.
Yeah.
But in regard to what he was taking exactly and whether or not...
I'm sure there was. I mean, if they're saying that it's those drugs that could have impaired him, there has to be some sort of a warning on there, I would think.
Certainly, yeah. And that would justify a charge, wouldn't it?
This is what someone close to the court system is saying right now. I think the problem was that they could not prove, and that's just true, and it states this in the story. The problem was that they could not prove it was the prescription drugs or the brain tumor that caused the accident. I don't know.
Well, the brain tumor caused the accident. I mean, that's kind of an odd argument, right?
Well, it could not be proven that either one of those things caused the accident. For that reason, they said they couldn't press charges.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure that I completely agree with that decision, but what do we know? And certainly the tow truck drivers do not. They're protesting. It's a dangerous job out there. They're along the side of the road.
I know.
It's a dangerous job for police officers when they pull someone over. I see a lot more often you're seeing the trooper, especially on the thruway, come to the right side, the passenger side door, as opposed to having them pull over and try to come to the driver's side door.
I mean, even if in limited circumstances where I've had to pull off on the thruway, like as the cars pass, you can feel the suction, right? Like it's...
When those or if a big tractor trailer goes by.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can feel. You can certainly feel it. Anyway, that's what occurred. It's all over. The DA's office in Onondaga County will not end up pressing charges. In 2020, a Chiefs fan gave his kidney to an Eagles fan. Now, thanks to the generosity of both teams, these two old friends are going to be Super Bowl-ing together. They're both going to the Super Bowl.
That's a cool story.
Donor John Gladwell and recipient Billy Welsh, both in good health, both going to the Super Bowl. Here we
I
go.
posted on Facebook, does anybody have a spare kidney I can get? Mine are junk.
Marines are a band of brothers. Don't leave someone behind.
When the transplant happened, I was literally days away from dialysis. It's a whole new lease on life. I was worried about if I didn't get a kidney, my son would grow up without a father. A Chiefs kidney. I don't know how my body will react if the Chiefs win. The Eagles are going to win. Go Birds.
Okay, well, there you go.
The nowadays, Bill, you can bet on anything, and the big prop bet so far for the Super Bowl is the guy who received the kidney. Does he live to 60, or does he make it to 60, or does he get past 60 with the transplant?
Well, let's hope he makes it. The announcement yesterday that Burt Bacharach has died, legendary songwriter, died Wednesday of natural causes. He was 94 years old. Bacharach composed the music for around 50 top 10 hits. And a little montage, do you want? A little montage
Yes.
of some of his better-known songs.
This guy's in love with you. And the house is not alone when there's no one there. What the world needs now
Oh, yeah, duh.
is love, sweet love. They long to be close to you.
Raindrops keep falling on my head.
I didn't know that.
A prayer for you. You know the way to San Jose. Never fall in love again.
What's new, pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa. There is always something there to remind me. When you get caught between the moon and New York City.
And he wrote a lot of songs.
Wow.
Well, there you go. He wrote so many songs that were played at weddings over and over and over again. Anyway, Burt Bacharach, dead at the age of 94. He also wrote the legendary song Inagata Vida. Did you know that? That's not true. The Music Man, they called him. While others wrote the lyrics, his longtime writing partner, Hal David, died in 2012. Burt also wrote songs with Carol Sager, Neil Diamond's Hard Light and On My Own by Patti LaBelle and Michael McDonald. His list of songs is staggering, and he has passed away at the age of 94.
If you asked me before you played the montage, I wouldn't have known one song. I couldn't name one song, but almost every one of them that you played is recognizable.
Well, in the beginning, you were a little lost.
Very much, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know those songs in the beginning. What do we have here, Davey? Scott. Hey, I wanted to talk to Scott. And,
Super Bowl.
Scott is a betting expert. We might need him a little later on, too. A lot of people have questions. Scott in Kirkville, good morning.
That wasn't nugget about Burt Bacharach. He was big into horse racing. He actually owned a lot of horse races.
See, everything comes back to betting, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
You know, he owned some. He was big in the 70s and 80s with the horse racing. But yeah, I didn't realize 94. That's incredible though.
Yeah, he lived a long, prosperous life. Okay, let's talk about prosperity here. Come on, man. What are you thinking?
Well, I tell you, the fun part about the Super Bowl is the prop bets. You guys are talking about, I assume, already, and they got a list at all the outside, the ways you can bet, on property. I'm sure you can get more in the mobile, but they got a whole pamphlet. And the one that kind of caught my eye, and I got it early, and I'm sure you can still do it, but I might have to give a little more. But they have the actually team totals for points, the individual team totals. And I got Kansas City over 24 points. And you think on a perfect weather conditions with no wind and inside the dome that Kansas City should be able to score over 24.
Yeah, one would think.
What were the odds on that?
Actually, it was cheap, Jeff. It was only 105 to win 100. And some of these prop bets, you have to sometimes give up a lot of juice.
Yeah.
And so if you win it, if you lose, you might have to have two props. They had a couple other ones. The hardest part, it was Kansas City, is the receivers because they're all banged up. The running back Pacheco was only over 16 yards receiving in 2 receptions, so I took that. I figured that Mahomes would be, swinging some passes out of his receivers. Scanlon is going to move up in the thing. He had a great game against Cincinnati. His prop was only 26 against Jacksonville. He ended up close to 100 yards. Of course, Kelsey's the big one. That's the one you have to give up probably a lot of juice for his amount. So
what do you what do you think on the game? Kansas City, Philadelphia. What do you think?
To be honest, I like Kansas City. A couple of reasons. First of all, Philadelphia, I keep hearing about how great their defense is, but you look at who they actually played. I mean, they played the Giants twice. They played Washington twice. So the Giants and Washington don't have any offense. When they played good quarterbacks, Goff from Detroit lit them up. Prescott from Dallas lit them up. And here's Kansas City having to face Josh Allen, Burrows twice, Herbert twice, that probably they face better quarterbacks. So maybe their defensive stats aren't as great as Philadelphia, but
that's a good point.
I think basically they have faced better quarterbacks, and we don't know about Hurts. 2 weeks, who knows? You can usually design almost a whole new defense to play against a kind of a quirky offense. It's not like in game where you have to worry about other teams. So we'll see if they take away the run, Kansas City, and force Hurts to pass. Brown's another good prop bet, guys, for Philadelphia. His total's only 5 receptions. They brought him in for this game. They paid $100 million, Philadelphia did. So I assume when they throw the ball, and there's a backup receiver or backup running back. It's number 14. I forgot his name, but he had a great game against San Francisco, and his reception is only 1.5 and 11 yards receiving. And I think Hurts is going to use him out of the backfield when they do swing it. So
is it Gainwell?
Great ways to play it.
Gainwell or Boston Scott?
Yeah, Gainwell. I think it's Gainwell.
Gainwell, yep.
He's number 14. He had a great game against San Francisco. He kind of reminds me of Pollard with Dallas. He's more explosive than Sanders. I think he should play more. That was another prop bet, guys, I did lose in the San Francisco because he broke his leg, Pollard. But Pollard, next year with Dallas, should be the starter next year. You guys are Dallas fans out there.
I have one
Very explosive.
prop recommendation, and that is you mentioned Travis Kelce and he being the key, especially with the wide receiving core they have. But I for at 10 to 1, next 9.5 to 1, I like Noah Fant to score a touchdown.
Yeah. Usually you're right. That's where you make your money. These fringe players. Now, a couple of years ago, I had Gronkowski at 9 to 1, and you knew that Brady. They brought him in just for Brady's security blanket around the goal line, and he actually, I think, scored
2
touchdowns or one.
Yeah.
But basically, it's the same way. It's interesting that Kansas City is the underdog still, right? I got at one time Philadelphia was a 2-point favorite, but everybody's worried about Mahomes' ankle, so that's interesting. Like I said, I'm just looking at competition, and if you think the AFC is better than the NFC, and you play better quality teams, then why Kansas City? I heard Mahomes. This is the stat. I'm just secondhand, but when he's been an underdog, he's actually 7 to 1 against the spread.
Wow. And then you think is a prop bet that they're going to run another weird play like the merry-go-round they did?
It's probably something like that. You're right. That's one thing about Kansas City. Kind of look like when you especially see Mahomes. It's the old schoolyard where you get down on your hands and knees and drop a play in the dirt.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right about that. It's interesting. I'm actually up at the Turning Stone, guys, for the game. So if you guys are driving around.
Oh, so you're spending the weekend there for the game. You'll do it at the.
Well, the first day's at Vernon Downs, Saturday.
Okay.
I'm up there. My boys from Gonzaga, by the way, won last night. Great over bet. Usually on Thursdays when they're home.
All right, so you're on a big betting weekend.
Big betting weekend. This is sort of like. People go to Disney World and Disneyland. This is my Disney World, Disneyland.
All right, I'd like
weekend.
to. I have some other questions for you that I'd like to line up. If you get a chance, call us in the 8 o'clock hour before we get out of here. We'll cap off a few more picks that are pretty cool for some prop bets this weekend. Davey,
we'll do.
What do you have, Davey?
Ask him about Syracuse with Boeheim real quick.
Oh, what are your thoughts on Boeheim's rough week?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I've seen him for 40. Well, I've been around, unfortunately, showing my years. I've been around for 47 years. His press conference is not even the top 10, the ones I remember.
Yeah, he
chased the reporter. His second year as a coach, he was upset. We used to have this thing called the Carrier Classic, which was basically a 4-team tournament, and Magic Johnson came in with Michigan State, and a sports reporter voted him MVP over Syracuse's star player Marty Burns, and he literally went after him.
Wow,
literally. Of course,
yeah,
yep. Anyway, he's been that way for 47 years. So anybody that's surprised,
right? Why are people surprised? I completely agree. And then
Bobby Knight East, we used to call him.
One more quickie. Nagel says, you know why the Eagles haven't beaten any good teams in the NFC because they are the good team. He's saying Eagles
There you go.
win. Eagles
You know,
win 35-17.
They could be. I'm just saying that from a quarterback standpoint, you name me who Kansas City has faced, and you name me who Philadelphia's faced. So
right.
stat-wise,
that's a fair point.
Philadelphia's stats are going to look a lot better. That's all.
Not only
Scott, 8 o'clock hour.
Yeah, call back. Not only who they faced, but
All
the
right,
fact
thank you.
that, Mahomes is already himself a Super Bowl winning quarterback where Hurts is still very young. The other thing was, and I apologize, Scott, I hope he can still hear this. I said Noah Fant. It's Noah Gray. The other tight end they throw out there across from Kelsey is Noah Gray. Was confusing Noah Fant. But anyway, 10-1 to score a touchdown.
Whether you're watching football this weekend or you're going to get out there and check out some movies, Willie Waffle on the line right now. And it's not just movies. It's streaming today as well. Good morning, Willie Waffle.
Well, good morning. Yeah, I mean, face it, not a lot of movies are being put into theaters this weekend because we all really have plans on Sunday.
Well, it's funny that what is the show, The Last of Us, or what is that?
Oh yeah, the Last of Us. Yeah, the big HBO thing.
So they have their show. Normally, the new episode each week comes out on Sunday night. Their new episode this week is coming out tonight at 9 o'clock because they don't want to compete with the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one thing that everybody still watches, I mean, you constantly, if you look at, like, the highest-rated TV shows in history, it's like Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, MASH, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. They're just always out there, especially now these days. I mean, you have a hit show, I think, if you're pulling, like, a 12, and that used to get you canceled back in the day.
Right. Think about that. There are a couple movies in theaters that are big, and maybe they've been timed perfectly against the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. This is counter-programming at its finest, people. That would be Magic Mike's Last Dance.
Oh,
yes.
boy.
Channing Tatum out there being Pretty Woman, because that's really what this movie is. It's a takeoff of Pretty Woman. Channing Tatum, the male stripper who meets with a very very rich wife of a media mogul played by Salma Hayek, and they kind of hit it off. And she takes him to London and wines him and dines him and gives him a chance to run a one-night-only male review on the boards in London. And, somewhere in there, I think there's a theme, something about women finding empowerment by watching men shake their moneymakers. I didn't get it. All I know is I think they want the ladies to show up to feel the magic.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this is let the guys stay home and do their Super Bowl pregame. We're all going out for a Sunday matinee to see Magic Mike.
Yeah, and I don't know how you say this about a movie that features stripping, but it's boring.
Okay.
I mean, it really is boring. I mean, this supposedly hot and steamy romance between Salma Hayek and Channing Tatum, it ain't happening. There's just not a lot of chemistry there. You got some dance scenes, which, they don't do much for me, but hey, they might do something for other people. Have fun with that. And we don't really get to see Magic Mike with all of his buddies from the first couple of movies. And wasn't it also about the buddies at one point?
Right.
I'm going like one waffle for Magic Mike's Last Dance.
Well, would there be an asterisk that says it is what it is?
That's right. It is what it is.
Yeah.
We know why you're buying a ticket. It's
That's right.
okay. Have some fun with your friends.
Okay. Well, there you go. And then there's a streaming movie, Netflix movie with Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, and this movie right here is a great example of how movie theaters and movies have changed so much over the past few years. You've got a Reese Witherspoon, Ashton Kutcher movie right before Valentine's Day that's not really hitting theaters. It's going straight to Netflix, and it's a rom-com. It's about these best pals. They've been living on opposite coasts and living opposite lives, and well, they have to kind of shake things up one week because she needs to go to New York for something to get a job promotion. He's heading out to L.A. to take care of her kid. And while they've switched places, they start to realize that maybe there's more between them than they've ever recognized before. Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be some loving and some doving. Yeah, that's what's going to happen here. Listen, there's nothing groundbreaking here. There's nothing amazing here. This is like, it's a comfortable movie. It's Sunday afternoon. You want to hunker under a blanket, and you don't feel like watching a football game. Here's your Netflix movie, right? Kutcher's fine. Witherspoon's fine. They're enjoyable to watch. How about 2.5 waffles?
Okay, and then I thought this was a big story this week, and that is that Kevin Costner maybe not leaving Yellowstone, but reducing significantly how much you actually see him in the series.
Yeah, this has been one of the most dramatic things that's been happening all week long, and the producers of Yellowstone are even throwing out the idea that this could end the show. Okay, so there's somewhat of a disagreement or dispute about Kevin Costner's involvement in Yellowstone, that he had originally signed up for like 65 days of filming for part 1 of season 5. And now that they kind of are getting into it, he's like, I'm only doing 50, or he only did 50. And they have to still film, I guess, part 2. And he said, well, I'm really only available for a week. And this is causing a lot of problems because they have to redo everything. It's affecting the other actors. They're going to have to rush through all of his scenes. And the producers are of the thought that what they might just do is end Yellowstone and put all their efforts into a new series starring Matthew McConaughey and possibly shifting some of the Yellowstone actors onto that show.
Wow. So is he a prima donna there, Field of Dreams, Mr. Field of Dreams Costner?
I think he's
Boy,
old.
It kind of sounds like it, doesn't it?
I think he's old. I think he's gotten old.
It's just so much so that they're thinking about tanking the original series and doing a spin-out. That's a real change in direction.
Wow.
Well, and I think a lot of that is, I think this is some gamesmanship that's going on. I think the producers are going, oh, you want to play games with us? Well, how about we take away your paycheck? Like, we'll just end the show. What are you going to do then? Because everything that he gets right now, all the attention Costner gets, all the other deals and projects that he's involved with, a lot of that's because of Yellowstone and the profile that he's kind of reacquired through Yellowstone. So I think that, let's see. It could be just a big game of chicken, and we'll see who blinks first.
All right, I got about a minute and a half. James Corden, this is big. This is where Conan O'Brien got his start, the Late Late Show on CBS. And it looks like that's coming to an end.
Yeah, James Corden has already announced he's leaving at some point soon, and so there's been all this talk and all this jockeying to see who's going to be the next great late night host. And CBS, it appears, has decided that, well, they're not really going to go that route. That they're going to work with Stephen Colbert to revive a program that he used to produce on Comedy Central. It was called At Midnight. It's a group of comedians on like a panel-type game show and a host who kind of throws them questions, and hilarity ensues.
Okay.
And so they're kind of throwing out the late-night format a little bit.
And then finally, AMC is really changing the way you go to the movies. About 30 seconds.
This is a horrible idea. They're going to charge more money for the good seats and less money for the seats in the front row.
Yep.
So if you want to sit in the middle of the theater with a great sight, you're going to pay an extra $2. If you're going to be stuck in the front row, they'll deduct $2.
Wow.
I think this is a horrible idea. They're going to string it out throughout the rest of the country over the course of this year. It's already in effect in New York and Chicago and Kansas City.
Now that we're with the marquee cinemas, but a lot of times AMC leads the way and everybody else follows suit.
Yeah, they're all going to follow suit. They're all going to do it because once one person kind of opens up the gate and makes it safe for the rest, they're going to run in there.
Have a great week and enjoy the Super Bowl weekend, Willie. Thank you.
Hey, gotcha. Talk to you next week.
Willie Waffle, WIBX Utica, Rome. It's 7 o'clock.
They want to talk to Mike Pence about Donald Trump. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The former vice president gets a subpoena from special counsel Jack Smith, who's investigating the former president.
Smith appointed by Attorney General Merrick Garland in November to investigate the former president's handling of White House documents found at his Mar-a-Lago home after leaving office. Also to look into the January 6th Capitol riot by Trump supporters and alleged efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin. Now to investigations into President Biden's son, Hunter. At a House Republican hearing, GOP Senator Chuck Grassley testified whistleblowers tell him the FBI has evidence of possible crimes, and they
also allege that Joe Biden was aware of Hunter Biden's business arrangements and may have been involved in some of them.
Which the president denies. And Hunter Biden's attorneys are refusing to comply with Republican requests for business records, calling the allegations baseless. All ayes in the House. A rare unanimous vote in a divided Congress condemning China for the spy balloon. President Biden tells Telemundo,
it's not a major breach. I mean, look, it's a violation of international law. It's our airspace.
Republicans disagree and do think it was a major breach. Congressman Greg Steube tells Fox.
This administration sat back and let the Chinese Communist Party surveil our military bases for the entire continental United States, and then, once they had gotten on all that information, then shot it down.
They've just arrested the suspected gunman in Maryland in the shootings of 2 police officers in 2 days.
Keep both officers in your thoughts and prayers.
Baltimore County Police Chief Dennis Delp. One is on life support this morning. The other shot Wednesday, now recovering at home out of the hospital. They keep finding survivors buried alive in rubble in Turkey. That's when a mother and son were rescued today. A baby, 2 other older children also found alive, but the number of deaths in Turkey and Syria tops 21,000 in the earthquakes. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey, if you're in the market for a new firearm, well, you're not going to do better than one made by our great friends at Henry Repeating Arms. And by the way, you're looking for something light and easy to transport, you got to check out their U.S. Survival Rifle. Now, you can take it apart, put it back together in seconds when you need to. It's compact, so you can carry it everywhere, only 3.5 pounds, just 16 inches when it's disassembled. Now, it comes in black and 3 types of camo, and it's affordable. You can pick one up from between $250 and $400, depending on the finish. And like all Henry firearms, they're made in the U.S., and they're backed by a lifetime satisfaction guarantee. As a matter of fact, you can watch a few video reviews. Just go to henryusa.com/survival. That's henryusa.com/survival. And while you're there, make sure you order your free catalog. You get free decals, over 200 models to choose from. You can't go wrong with any of them. henryusa.com. Get your free catalog, free decals, and a list of dealers where you are. Check out the U.S. Survival Rifle.
Mostly cloudy skies, 40 degrees. WIBX news time is 7:03. Oneida County Sheriff Rob Mashel warning residents to be on the lookout for a sob story scam that was successful on at least one person in our area so far. That sob story is classic. I lost my wallet. I need money to get back home. However, this one, being conducted in the Walmart parking lot in the city of Rome, is offering up jewelry as collateral in exchange for a large sum of cash that would be returned as soon as the family is safely returned home. Now, officials responded to a suspicious activity call at the Rome Walmart this week and found one man believing he had just been scammed out of his own money. Officials say the man felt he had been made a victim. The complainant advised that while at the Walmart, he had been approached by a man driving a white SUV. He told him he needed help getting his family back to Florida after losing his wallet. The complainant reported that he was shown the family was sitting in a nearby SUV, a wife and 4 children in the car. He also said the children ranged in age from 7 to infant. Ultimately, the man turned over $1,300 in exchange for some jewelry as collateral. Authorities say it was a scam, and they're warning people. They believe this has occurred at several areas across the country, and it's unclear if this local group is in central New York currently or if they've moved on to another part of the state. The state legislature is considering a plan to alter how some waterways are classified, and local officials say it would negatively impact farmers, cripple snowmobiling, and create infrastructure and travel headaches. Now, Governor Kathy Hochul has vetoed the identical bill at the end of 2022, but it is once again circulating in committee in Albany. County Executive Anthony Picenti is asking the governor to veto it again if it comes to her desk. The Class C waterways would become protected streams, leaving design and approval decisions up to the state. The county executive says the effort may be well-intentioned, but would negatively impact the region's economy and travel. In a letter to the governor, he says 80% of local bridges and culverts are located within Class C streams, meaning necessary work to address infrastructure emergencies after a storm or flooding would face unnecessary delays and cost increases. He also says those burdensome regulations would disrupt the use of streams by central New York farmers and would cripple snowmobiling as the region's snowmobiling trails crisscross many of the impacted streams. A former member of the Black Panthers will be speaking at Hudson Valley Community College in Troy. Or, matter of fact, he has spoken. Bobby Seale was co-founder of the group. He was part of a Black History Month presentation. Seale discussing a variety of topics. Audience members were also given the opportunity to ask questions. His appearance was, again, part of a Black History Month event being held at the campus. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast. Cloudy skies, still some rain shower chances this morning and again this afternoon. We may have hit our high for the day already. The afternoon high will be 40 degrees. Chance of rain and snow showers before 9 p.m. tonight, and then a chance of snow showers after midnight, an overnight low of 22. Saturday, chance of snow showers early in the day, then gradually becoming sunny by afternoon, a high of 32. Super Sunday, mostly sunny, and a high of 42. Right now, we have cloudy skies, 39 degrees. WIBX News Time, 7:07.
All right, from the IBEW Local 43 Sports Desk, it is Super Bowl weekend. The Lombardi Trophy is on the line when Super Bowl 57 kicks off this Sunday. Kansas City will square off against the Philadelphia Eagles in Glendale, Arizona. The Chiefs are back in the big game for the third time in the last 4 years and will be seeking their second Super Bowl title in the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes era. KC slipped by the Bengals in the AFC Championship game to advance. The Eagles knocked off, of course, the San Francisco 49ers to win the NFC title and earn their first appearance in the big game since winning their lone Super Bowl championship following the 2017 season. History will be made when the game kicks off. It will mark the first time ever the two African-American quarterbacks start in the Super Bowl, with Mahomes and Jalen Hurts going toe-to-toe. The game will also feature brothers facing off for the first time, the Kelce's going up against each other, and it all comes on Sunday night. We'll also tell you the Comets are home tonight at the Adirondack Bank Center. They'll play home tonight at 7, and then on the road tomorrow to camp out the weekend. And the Utica Pioneers playing on the road this weekend as well. In the few things in the NBA, the Knicks visit the 76ers tonight. Last night, Brooklyn beat Chicago 116 to 105. The Devils scored their third straight win. They trailed 1-0 late in the second period. Won yesterday over Kraken. Last night, 3-1. The Islanders fall short in a loss to the Vancouver Canucks. Final score 6-5.
Well, so we talked about this earlier this week. What, whose forecast was correct? Was it going to be 50 yesterday? Was it going to be 40? I was shocked that
Yeah, I don't understand this. The two basically, if you have an iPhone, you have that weather app that's on there. They're calling for 51 yesterday and 51 again today.
You know what happened? It hit 50 degrees at about quarter to midnight. It was the high yesterday and the high today.
Okay.
I took the dog out at sometime after 11 o'clock, and I was like,
so that's where the high
this makes
okay.
Totally overlooked that. So, and
Yeah.
I think today, for instance,
And we're down to like 42 degrees right now.
yeah. So we've already hit our high for the day. It's the afternoon high is looking at about 40 degrees, but I think shortly after midnight last night we were at about 49, 50 degrees. So.
Okay, well, there you have it. Big. We're going to talk to Scott from Kirkville again in the 8 o'clock hour about his favorite, some more of his favorite picks for the weekend. It's unbelievable that you have your squares games. Normally, there's one that's passed around here, but there wasn't one this year. And my wife usually gets one, and there wasn't one this year. I think the ability to do all of this betting online has people not doing that as much in their workplace.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
It
was in the past. Typically, it was they were like $2 squares. We would do like a $2 square pool, but there were a couple people I knew, but you had to get in like the week before the conference championships or that week because they would sell out. But I was always looking like, oh, I'll take a couple $2 squares. Otherwise, I wouldn't have really a place to bet. But now you can bet every single element of that game on your phone. Like
And
you said.
there are. In fact, I was told yesterday that someone I know he has 6 or 7 apps that he uses.
Wow.
And also there's another app that brings all of that information off his phone and puts it on a spreadsheet. So you keep track, and it breaks it down. It's like, well, you were this week, or maybe this month, you were like 5-1 in the NBA, but only you were 2-6 when it came to NHL games. So it kind of breaks down the percentages of where you're good and where you're not good, what you win, what you lose. That's a cool idea for an app, especially if you have somebody that goes and plays at a casino. You play blackjack. I know one guy that keeps track. He does a plus and minus every time he goes, so he can keep track of how much money he's up and how much money he's down when he goes to the casino. So technology, good or bad?
Yeah, that's the question.
Gotta wonder. Okay, I got to say the technology is good in our home after our furnace went down a week ago when it was really, really cold a week ago. And we called on Collis. They were there. Trusted, a company that you can trust, Fred F. Collis & Sons Heating and Cooling. And with these extreme low temperatures that we're experiencing, and then you get what we're dealing with right now, warmer temperatures. At midnight, Jeff said we actually hit 50 degrees. It's important to make sure your heating contractor is a contractor you can count on when you need them. And that is Collis. Boy, last year at this time, we went through a furnace issue. This year happened again on Saturday, and we just finally had a new furnace installed on Monday. And that was a great experience. They really came in, respect your property, and were there every step of the way. We appreciate what they did for us and would highly recommend Fred F. Collis & Sons Heating and Cooling. And by the way, they're hiring right now for an insulation installer to join their team, seeking individuals with some form of construction experience. You can either stop right into the Collis showroom on Commercial Drive in Yorkville to apply, or you can download the application at fredfcollis.com/careers and email it to the address listed on the website. Your chance to work for a great team at Fred F. Collis & Sons.
Missing the winter part of winter fun? Come to Old Forge for Winter Carnival this weekend. During this winter light, we've got the best parts of Winter Carnival. The Friday night skating party with a bonfire and music. Saturday, the party moves to Macaulay Mountain for a scavenger hunt and dinner specials with live music, torchlight skiing, and fireworks. Sunday is cardboard sled races, plus all the great skiing at Macaulay. Put fun back in winter this weekend at Old Forge.
It's February. You know what that means. Love is in the air. That's right. Valentine's Day is Tuesday, February 14th, and the Old Wicker Mill is your one-stop shop for all your Valentine gifts. Valentine's Day is a day to express your love. This year, give a beautiful gift of distinction that will be enjoyed for years to come. Let's think out of the box. For your little Valentine, we have a fun toy department with Nido, Coco Melon, Bluey, and Minecraft toys. Maybe your Valentine loves gardening. The Old Wicker Mill has a huge garden department. There's Beekman Bath & Body, Lolita wine glasses, touch lamps, Nora Fleming, Dr. Squatch soap, a large women's clothing department. We're your Vera Bradley headquarters, and of course we have traditional Valentine's gifts, cards, candy, and all the top jewelry brands like Pandora, Brighton, Swarovski, Ella Stein, Uno de 50, E. Newton, and so much more. So this Valentine's Day, express your love to all your Valentines with something special from the Old Wicker Mill, located in the New Hartford Shopping Center, where everything we have is fun, functional, and affordable.
Adam and Grace finally made it to retirement. They decided this was their time. They drove in from Herkimer to Mattress Express in New Hartford on Commercial Drive in the Hannaford Plaza next to Red Lobster. They wanted to see the number bed they'd heard so much about. Adam had a bad back. He liked his side firm. We elevated his head, his feet, put the massage on medium. He said he hadn't felt that comfort in years. Grace liked her side softer. She was a 24. She had her head elevated slightly less, her feet a little higher, and the massage on high. They were thrilled to find out it had a 25-year industry-leading warranty. They qualified and signed up for the 5 years, no interest, no money down, so they didn't have to wait for their tax return. For their luxury reward, they chose a 65-inch flat-screen TV. They laid on the Purple and the Puffy, the big online brands while they were there, but the number bed was for them. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS or go to mattressexpressny.com or visit any store.
WIDX 950 and 1069 FM. This is Keeler.
So some interesting news here this morning. Yesterday, the city endorsements were made in Utica. And some interesting news on Katie Aiello's seat. Of course, Katie Aiello is the person behind Complete Streets, or at the very least is the person that's pushing it hardest right now. Manaski, what happened last night?
Well, I'm being told that she wasn't. She didn't get the endorsement, the Democrat endorsement for, I believe, council at large, and that maybe they backed another candidate, and then I believe she has said on social media, expect a primary, at least in one of the races.
Wow.
And I don't know yet as we sit here. I set this up yesterday afternoon. As we sit here, I don't know whether it was Frank DeBrango or Celeste Friend who got the backing for the Utica mayor's race.
So on the mayor's race, the Democratic primary, providing there is one, would be Frank DeBrango versus Celeste Friend, the two Democrats. So the party met yesterday. Some thought they might not endorse. Others thought they might endorse. We do not know. However, Frank DeBrango is on the line as we speak. Hello, Frank. And then we'll follow that with Celeste Friend. Hi, Frank. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Bill.
Were you surprised that Katie Aiello was not endorsed?
Yeah, I was. When they came to District 1, the committee members, they were all seated around a certain table. They had to divide it up to 6 tables.
Yeah.
You know, representing each ward.
Sure.
And they chose to endorse Morella Peckman.
Wow.
Interesting.
So
now,
that was their choice.
Yeah.
They were in the district. There was the committee people in their in her ward. Excuse me. I keep saying district.
Yeah. Now, word is that she's claiming on video that there will be a primary. So we'll be speaking with her coming up to see what her take is going forward. Of course, she's played a big role in pushing these complete street, this concept of complete streets forward. Okay, so in the primary race potential primary race between you and Celeste Friend, did the committee make an endorsement?
Yes, they did. And I'm very, very thankful that they did. The members, they took the vote to the floor, so every committee member in the room had a chance to voice, you know, their thoughts on mayor, and I actually won overwhelmingly. It was 5-1. It was over 5,000 weighted votes to right around 1,000 weighted votes.
Okay.
So,
well,
so that was good. Very, very satisfied, and they had their choice, and they chose me to get the endorsement.
Congratulations.
Now, do you expect?
Thank you.
Will you seek the additional lines, for instance, like working families, or do you think your opponent will? I guess what I'm getting at, and the purpose of the question is, we've seen this happen before in Utica. Sometimes the primary doesn't decide it, and you end up getting a 3-way or more candidates involved in the actual fall election.
Yes, I will be seeking the conservative line. I have a meeting scheduled. I have a screening scheduled on the 18th of February. So hopefully that'll go well.
That's going to be interesting, right?
Could be a 4-way race in the fall.
Well, because what is the conservative? Who is the conservative party right now? Here.
Well, the Conservative Party, they I guess they had to go to a state, a person in charge of the state conservative committee by the name of Mr. Kassar out of New York. And I guess what they did was they met maybe a week or two ago, and they chose some members to represent their party. I believe there's maybe 16 to 18 members that'll be interviewing for the mayorship. Okay. And I really don't know who they are, so I'll find out when I get there, I guess.
All right. And isn't there, isn't Madison County involved? The Madison County Conservative Party? I believe.
I'm hearing Madison County is involved. I got a call from Mr. Kennan.
Yes.
I guess he's conservative in Madison County, and he's the one that advised me that I'll be screening, shortly. And then I got the call, I think yesterday or the day before, regarding the actual date and time. It's
all
on
right.
February 18th.
All right, Frank. Again, we don't know. We're going to speak with your opponent in a moment, and we don't know if there will be a primary, but we'll find out. And I assume there will be.
Yeah.
And we wish you the best and congratulations.
All right, I'm assuming there will be a primary, and thank you very much. Thank
Okay,
you,
thanks.
gentlemen.
I can't imagine.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Frank.
Frank. I can't imagine that Celeste would walk away. She's on the line right now. Celeste, friend, your reaction to the endorsement last night?
Well, I'm disappointed, but not surprised. When you looked at the list of the committee members and you saw how many people had joined the committee by appointment just recently, it came as no big surprise. So disappointed, but not surprised. And we're going to go forward. There's no question of whether there's going to be a primary. This is, nothing. This doesn't determine the outcome of anything.
Sure.
I think that it should be up to all of the Democrats who live in the city of Utica to decide who they want to represent them in the fall election.
Not to take away from your race, but what happened with Katie Aiello?
That came as a big surprise. I didn't see that coming. She was endorsed easily by the executive committee. So there were two instances last night of the executive committee deciding one thing and the whole committee going against that recommendation. So in the case of Katie, the executive committee had endorsed her, recommended her to the committee for endorsement. That came out of the blue. I was surprised by it. Again, sort of disappointed by it. But again, we're talking about the views of a small group of committee members as opposed to the views of her actual constituents, who she has served really well.
And the other change, executive committee versus the entire committee, would have been in the mayor's race, right?
Yes. So the executive committee, which met back in the middle of January, voted not to endorse in the mayoral race. So they were split 3 wards versus 3 wards, but given the weighted votes, how that works. The 3 wards that voted not to endorse had more weights. And so the executive committee, their conclusion was to recommend to not endorse in the mayoral. And the whole committee went against that. And then their recommendation was to endorse in the first, and the committee from the first ward went against that.
Okay. All right. So you will plow forward, and there will be a primary coming up in June.
Absolutely.
And will you be seeking the working families line?
I've already screened with them. That was a couple of weeks ago. So yes, I am seeking that. I am optimistic. They have endorsed me in the past. So I don't take anything for granted, and obviously it's up to them. But I'm optimistic that I will have the working families line.
All right. I was wondering if you'll be if you're going to seek the conservative line. It amazes me how local politics work. Right? You would think that a Democrat would not screen in front of the conservative party. However, it happens locally, and Frank DeBrango
It does
will.
happen locally, and I don't think Utica is the only one of that. I would never seek the endorsement of the Conservative Party. I know some of those people, and they're good people. They're well-intended people who I like and respect, but the values of the Conservative Party don't in any way align with the values of the Democratic Party. So it's odd to me that one could be a Democrat and would also want the conservative line. But as you say, Bill, it's not unusual in local politics for it to work out that way.
Can you explain what you meant by those people when you said that? I'm just
what
kidding.
was
A
the
little
sentence?
joke. It was a joke.
Those people.
It was a joke.
Okay, Celeste, thank you for the time, and good luck out there.
Thank you very much. Have a
Thank
great
you.
weekend. It's going to warm up and be sunny. I hope everyone will come out for a walk a mile in their shoes tomorrow at 11 o'clock from City Hall, and it starts at 10. It's sponsored by the Rescue Mission, and it's an event to bring awareness to homelessness.
All right.
So I'll see everybody there.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Celeste. Thank you to both for joining us this morning. You know, I have 2 quick thoughts on that Democrat-conservative thing, and that being, I've said this to people, friends of mine, who ask questions about like the local parties and how it works and stuff like that, and they'll hear things like this, and they're, how does a Democrat screen for the conservative line? And I've said, this is a very central New York. many Democrats seem, at least on the surface, fiscally conservative or come across conservative compared to other parts of the country, anyway, for sure.
Yes, I think moderate, and local politics is completely different. So,
Yes,
in my
yes.
opinion on this, really what it is normally is that members on the committee and you feel you've got a shot at grabbing that line, and you grab the conservative. Where I find it that it was different, and that the Democratic candidate actually, I think, represented the values of the Conservative Party. The only time I've seen it, and I'm sure there's others that I'm not thinking of, but was in the sheriff's race. Sheriff Rob Mashel, in his battle against bail reform and the safety, public safety, et cetera, I feel like he could also represent the values of conservatives.
I just, as an example, I completely agree with you. As an example, though, you look at that, many Democrats have the, quote, conservative view on bail reform, for instance, including
Right.
the DA.
So,
right? A lot
right.
of people identify that it's gone too far.
On crime, but I see the DA as a Democrat.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I see Scott, I see, the sheriff as a Democrat, but I could also see the sheriff becoming, and please, Sheriff, don't be angry with me. I could see him I think he did well with Republicans and conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, he won by 80 some odd percent. So, but then again, it's a little easier for you if you're a sheriff, right? You stand by all of those public safety principles, and
sure.
And certainly the fact that he was leading the way statewide against bail reform, I think he fit. But otherwise, I think a lot of times what happens is the committees, this one knows this one, I want you to run against this one. I went to high school, this happens in Utica and Rome. I went to high school with this one, we didn't like him, and, our family, dot. And I think there's a lot of that.
So what I'm curious to see here going forward as it relates to the mayoral race, so if Frank gets the conservative line, wins or loses the Democrat primary, or if Celeste gets the working families line, the thought was, are they going to align against whoever the voters decide? Well, it's possible that both of them entering the race will already have a third-party endorsement.
Right.
So
this could be an interesting November because of all of that.
Yeah.
And then one more note on this, picking up the lines, and you want that third-party line if you can get it. I just think that politics are so local, especially at the local level. It's all about it's relationships. It's if you're a Democrat, you may be a Democrat because that's what your parents were and your grandparents before them. But your values might be a little different. But on the local level, you're not voting on abortion rights. You're not voting on right. So it doesn't mean the same thing. That's just my little take.
I completely
on all
agree,
of it.
and I had suggested almost.
Wasn't Bob Cardillo a Democrat at one point a while back? Didn't he switch over to the Democratic Party? I don't think Bob changed his political his political values. If maybe he went to the Independents, but I thought he had become a Democrat for a little bit.
So, and I mentioned this kind of
Tim Julian's another example.
Absolutely, Jim Zecca. That
Tim
group.
is the minority party leader. So, right, it's different at the local level. That's all.
I had wondered out loud, should we have different names for parties for local races? Because so many times when you say I'm Republican or I'm Democrat, it means so many things to the people who hear what your label is.
Right.
And it really doesn't represent what your platform is or what you're trying to do for the office you're running for. Who cares if you want to build a border when really the issue might be economic development or whatever the local issue is.
I'm told Galimi, DeBrango, and Cardillo are the three mayoral candidates that are screening for the conservative line.
Oh, interesting.
So there you have that. That really makes sense, right? The DeBrango one is the one you wouldn't expect. Interesting stuff. Coming up, Karen Rontowski is doing an amazing weekend of psychic comedy this weekend at Fat Cats Comedy Club, and she's going to be in studio coming up in a few minutes. We have some tickets to give away. Will Phillips, who does afternoons on WOUR, is going to be part of that lineup this weekend. He is a hilarious comedian who travels the country on the weekends when he's not on OUR. So interesting. Karen's coming in a second. Also, Hobica's free money question of the day. Chance at $100 coming up on WIBX.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Syracuse University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Syracuse University's partnership with the IBEW will provide talented students the opportunity to advance their careers while shaping the future of the electrical trades and the industries they serve.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Uncertainty, the unknown. These can be some of the greatest fears people face. There is a chance for a life of greater certainty that the Rome Rescue Mission provides. We call it a hand up, not a handout. The Rome Rescue Mission provides the basic necessities and the skills needed to start a new life. It starts simply with someone to talk to. Knowing that someone cares, the Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. The Rome Rescue Mission helps people start a new and promising life. Being in need is not a choice. Helping is. An unlimited future starts at the Rome Rescue Mission through your generous support. Make a difference and donate now. RomeMission.org. That's RomeMission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Couple things. Update on the conservative line. I mentioned DeBrango, Cardillo, and Galimi for Utica mayor screening in front of the Conservative Party. In Rome, Lanigan and Izzo are both screening for the, and I don't think there's a Democrat in the race in Rome. I believe it's just, as of right now, it's just Lanigan and Izzo running for mayor. Although I don't know that Jackie has officially announced that she's running. A couple things. I want to tell you, real men get tested for cancer. Tim Reed, Mohawk Valley Garden, and the Utica Comets have a pair of Jimmy Fallon tickets to auction off for the sold-out show next week. Davey, if you know somebody that doesn't have tickets, this is their chance.
It's been up to 150.
We're at 150. Who is the leading bidder right now?
DD.
DD is at $150. If Dee holds on to win, and we'll take the highest bidder as of Valentine's Day, this is what she'll receive. And now all proceeds go to Real Men Get Tested for Cancer, which is an organization that Tim Reed and I started 3 or 4 years ago. All it does is just send the message out to people that it's important, especially guys, to get out there and get tested. She will receive, if she's the winning bidder, it's at $150 right now. 2 tickets to the Jimmy Fallon show. Sold out, by the way. All 5 shows are sold out. We couldn't squeeze another person in. Even like the skinniest person you could find. Couldn't squeeze him in. 4 tickets to the Comets game. 4 Utica Pioneers playoff tickets. You get to select your dates on all of these. The Pioneers tickets, that is pending that they make it into the playoffs. We expect they will. 4 Utica City FC tickets. Broadway Utica tickets. $250 gift card to Utica Fun and Food, Aquavino, 72 Tavern and Grill, Babes, Cookies, and the concessions at Nexus and Adirondack Bank Center, and a table for 6 at any upcoming show at Fat Cats Comedy Club, excluding the Jimmy Fallon show. And on top of all of this, Tim Reed will match the final bid. That's pretty awesome. So, as we said, Dee Dee is the number one, the top bidder right now. Want to top her? You'd give Davey a call right now at 315-736-0186. The bid now is at $150. All right. We also want to tell you about New York Sash. Do it all this year, vacation and home improvement. You're able to do it, and you don't have to make the difficult decision because there's a free vacation on the line. Schedule a price quote for a home improvement project with New York Sash, and they'll gift you with a cruise or a luxury vacation voucher to take the trip of your dreams. Cruise for 3 to 7 days on the top liners that are out there and locations, or you can stay at your choice of 4,500 luxury resorts worldwide if you don't want to do the cruise. There are no blackout dates. You get 24 months to book, and it's fully transferable, which means the perfect gift. You don't have to choose between home improvement and the vacation of your dreams. It's all from New York Sash. We've had work done, and we'll have work done in the spring. Windows going into our home from New York Sash. They do an incredible job, and their employees are just awesome when it comes to installation. Find out more by signing up for a no-cost, no-obligation price quote, NewYorkSash.com/vacation, or stop into the showroom on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro.
Mostly cloudy skies, 39 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX News Time 7:35. Multiple reports say the Chinese spy balloon that flew over the U.S. could collect communication signals and was part of a broader spying operation. The balloon reportedly was equipped with antennas and solar panels large enough to power sensors. NBC News reports photos taken by high-altitude U-2 planes confirmed the presence of that equipment. A U.S. fighter jet shot it down off the coast of South Carolina last weekend. The death toll from the massive earthquake that ravaged Turkey and Syria is now above 21,000. The quake was a magnitude 7.8. Logistical problems, blocked roads, and poor communication have complicated rescue efforts, along with the sheer size of the overall disaster. Turkey's foreign minister noted dozens of nations and international organizations have stepped up to provide aid. Russia overnight unleashing the most intense round of missile strikes since it began invading Ukraine nearly a year ago. Russian missiles pounded critical infrastructure in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city, and launched a number of strikes on energy facilities in other parts of the country. The attacks followed warnings by a Ukrainian military official who estimated that Russia has a total of nearly 10,000 tanks, armored vehicles, rocket launchers, fighter jets, helicopters, artillery systems, all geared up and ready for a huge new invasion. The Lombardi Trophy will be on the line Sunday at Super Bowl 57. The Kansas City Chiefs square off with the Philadelphia Eagles in Arizona. The Chiefs are back in the big game for the third time in the last 4 years, while they are seeking their second Super Bowl title in the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes era. The Eagles knocked off the San Francisco 49ers to earn their ticket to the Super Bowl, and it's their first appearance back since winning the big game in 2017. GoFundMe has taken down all the pages that were set up to raise money, bail money, for an Arizona cattle rancher accused of killing a migrant last week. I've got to ask your opinion on this story. George Allen Kelly said he shot the man for trespassing on his property. The 73-year-old Kelly was arrested Monday, charged with first-degree murder, and ordered held on $1 million bail. Authorities suspect the 48-year-old Mexican citizen that Kelly is accused of shooting was crossing into the country illegally. Kelly's cattle ranch lies within 150 feet of the U.S.-Mexico border. I thought it was interesting that a third-party fundraiser like that would get involved and basically say you can't raise money for this person's defense. I found that interesting.
We'll talk about that.
And I have one more. George Santos has told the truth. No, I'm just kidding. There's another bad revelation involving Long Island Congressman George Santos. Politico reports that he's charged with theft in 2017 involving dog breeders in Pennsylvania's Amish country. According to court papers, Santos wrote a series of bad checks to dog breeders totaling $15,000.
What?
The charge was dismissed and his record expunged after he claimed his checkbook was stolen. However, just days after writing the check, Santos held an adoption event at a Staten Island pet store for his charity, Friends of Pets United. According to the New York Times, the charity was not a registered nonprofit or rescue group.
Okay.
Your WIBX Weather Center forecast calling for cloudy skies. We do have some rain shower chances still this morning and possibly this afternoon. An afternoon high of 40 degrees. Chance of rain and snow showers tonight and through the overnight. An overnight low of 23. New snow accumulation of around an inch possible overnight tonight. Slight chance of snow showers for your Saturday, otherwise cloudy. We do have some afternoon sunshine possible tomorrow, a high of 32. Mostly sunny on Sunday and a high of 42 for the big game. By the way, Super Bowl coverage on WIBX starts at 2 Sunday.
Next week, they're talking about, later in the week, Thursday, Friday, they're talking about mid-50s. I mean, we could see a real warm-up. I mean, just the temperatures we're dealing with right now for February are incredible.
I know.
All right. By the way, Davey, the current bid on the Jimmy Fallon tickets for next week. Current bid, there are 5 sold-out shows next weekend. This would be for Friday night's show at 7 o'clock. Current bid is at what?
$300.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Nice job.
Now, you get a whole bunch of other tickets to go along with it, as we mentioned. Comets tickets, Pioneers, Utica City FC, a $250 gift card to Utica Fun and Food. Another table for 6 at Fat Cat shows coming up. Go to fatcatscomedyclub.com. And Tim Reed from Real Men Get Tested for Cancer will match anyone's bid. So if the winning bid is $300, well, we're right now at $600. Pretty cool. So $300, Davey. All right. Okay. All right. Let's do Hobica's free money question of the day. It's a chance for you to win $100. And there are a few people out there. I know one in particular, Pat, won in November, December, and January. You have to wait 30 days. He's 3 in a row right now. Will he win again in February? Will he even get through the lines? Who knows? Davey, we're looking for caller number what this morning?
6.
6th caller through the phone lines right now. Your chance to win $100 from Hobica is next on WIBX.
From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products and online shops, it's all under one new roof at Max's Print Shop in Marcy. Order anytime and any quantity in person or online at maxsprintshop.com. Since 1978, we pride ourselves on personally meeting every customer's need. We can take your project from design to production. And remember, Max's Print Shop will stitch anything. And we mean anything in the Utica-Rome area. Find us at 9555 River Road in Marcy or online at maxsprintshop.com.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Spring is on the way, and if you're looking to make the most of it in a new RV, camper, boat, or trailer, then look to Mohawk Valley FCU. Right now, you can get up to 120-month financing for as low as 5.74% APR for any new recreation vehicle. That's 120 months of financing for as low as 5.74% APR. Go to MohawkValleyFCU.org for more info and to apply today. Mohawk Valley FCU, member-focused, member-driven.
It's February. You know what that means. Love is in the air. That's right. Valentine's Day is Tuesday, February 14th, and the Old Wicker Mill is your one-stop shop for all your Valentine gifts. Valentine's Day is a day to express your love. This year, give a beautiful gift of distinction that will be enjoyed for years to come. Let's think out of the box. For your little Valentine, we have a fun toy department with Nido, Coco Melon, Bluey, and Minecraft toys. Maybe your Valentine loves gardening. The Old Wicker Mill has a huge garden department. There's Beekman Bath & Body, Lolita wine glasses, touch lamps, Nora Fleming, Dr. Squatch soap, a large women's clothing department. We're your Vera Bradley headquarters, and of course we have traditional Valentine's gifts, cards, candy, and all the top jewelry brands like Pandora, Brighton, Swarovski, Ella Stein, Uno de 50, E. Newton, and so much more. So this Valentine's Day, express your love to all your Valentines with something special from the Old Wicker Mill, located in the New Hartford Shopping Center, where everything we have is fun, functional, and affordable.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope. Nuh-uh. Oh no, he's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Has the stock market slumps and instability this year got you concerned? Would you like a way that could protect your retirement when the markets are down? Gold Alliance would like to give you 2 free reports, the Inflation Survival Plan and the Stock Market Correction Plan. Both give actionable insights you can use now that could protect your savings in uncertain times. Absolutely free. Don't wait. Call 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, Davey, my screen is blank. I don't know what's going on. What are we?
That's my problem. My screen is blank.
What are we looking? Who is the contestant?
Pat.
It is Pat, the guy who won in November, December, and January. He wants to win in February. Wow. He's waiting his 30 days, and here we go. Hi, Pat. Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
I can't believe it, man. You are on fire.
Yeah, it's going to end today, but okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I kind of feel like this could be a good day for you.
It's all luck.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough. But so far, Hobaika's supplementing your income.
Really?
Yeah, well, he's my retirement plan.
I like it. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's your question. You know the deal. You're an expert. You have 7 seconds to answer. And here's your question. On this date in 1940, this mega classic song, perfect for the jitterbug, hit number 1 on the pop charts. What's the name of the song and artist? Ready, go.
I think the name is Hobaika Keeps His Money.
Oh, wow. You know, the streak doesn't completely end because you're still open to play and you're still eligible, I believe, to play in February. But the correct answer would be, anybody on this one? It's kind of a...
Bert?
No, it's not a Bacharach song. It's...
I thought for sure.
Glenn Miller in the
Glenn
mood.
Miller,
Yeah,
yes.
Jitterbug.
Did it Begin the Begin?
What's that?
Was it Begin the Begin?
Begin the Begin?
I don't know, but this is the song. Yeah, that's the Jitterbug, Glenn Miller Orchestra. Okay, listen, I got a ton of stuff for you though. I mean, you win just for losing here. An all-in-one food and fun card, which is $25. Aquavino, Babe, 72, Taylor and the Cook, and the Adirondack Bank Center and Nexus concession stands. Plus, I'll give you a table for 6 at Fat Cats Comedy Club. What a show this weekend where we have Karen Rontowski in studio. And is there anything else? The mug. We have the new collector's item, the Keeler in the Morning WIBX 950, 106.9 FM mug. And it comes from Max's Print Shop on River Road in Marcy. Hold on, Pat. Davey's going to hook you up.
Thanks, guys.
I'm sure we'll hear from you later in the month. Davey, take care of him. He doesn't keep that streak alive. Interesting.
Oh, like you said, he's still got time.
Nobody knew. Did you know, Karen? Did you know the answer to that?
You know what? I didn't hear the question, but I have to say that would be the only song I would have known
Be
from
the
that
only one
time,
that I would know
right?
from 1940.
But I love Glenn Miller.
I agree. I wouldn't know of any other song to pick. I just throw that out there. It was like in every World War II movie. Every World War II movie, you have to have that song.
I used to play the clarinet. That's why I love that.
Karen Rontowski, good morning.
Hello.
Great to have you in here.
Thanks for having me in.
What some don't know is not only are you live in a world of stand-up comedy, and you've traveled the country, done all sorts of TV shows and even Letterman, and but in addition to all of that, you are a psychic.
Yes, I read tarot cards, and I put the two together on stage to create a extremely fun show of sort of saying, I always say the future never looks so funny. So we put it all together. There's like a half hour of stand up, and then I look into your future and roast you at the same time.
Okay, I love it. So it's roast/psychic/comedy.
Yes, and roast is a little hard. It's just fun. I have a ton of clips. Everyone should check out the clips on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been preparing this for almost a full year, the Valentine's Day show. You were saying during the break she's really looking forward to Valentine's Day. She's going to spend a lot of time pounding the jokes, which is going to be quite a boring night over there for Miss Karen. I'm a little
Did
joking.
you open? Did you open for Jimmy Fallon?
I did open
You
last time for
did,
Jimmy. We had
yeah,
a blast.
yeah.
Yes, I very much enjoyed it. Yeah.
You crushed it. He loved you. He just thought you were awesome.
We had a
and
great time.
actually asked for you to open for him again, and I said I can't do it because she's playing the week before.
Well, tell him I said thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
we had a great time, and I'm getting a little bit used to Utica. Because I've been here about a year. I've been doing the show probably 20 years, so it's really
the psychic comedy thing
been taken off.
is old
too.
hat for you.
Yes,
but for here, it's new for us.
No, in fact, I
Yeah.
hope that the people of Good Utica are excited about the future. I have some doubts about that. You have
Utica
to-
is never excited about the future.
If it involves any kind of change.
Yeah,
That's
we
right.
don't,
I've
yeah.
learned also if you say in Utica, if you say it's near the dollar store, that could be anywhere. That's
That is true. What about for people? And I don't want to. Maybe I could fall into the category that don't necessarily believe in the whole psychic thing.
You know what? That's where the show is fun for everybody, because if you don't believe, the comedy is still great. It's still just stand up for you. And sometimes it's fodder, and you may, joke with your friends, and you may actually be surprised at what happens. But either way, it's people have always said, not only is it fun, it's really fascinating to just watch what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's like a psychology thing. What people ask, what they're excited about.
So
that kind of thing.
during one part of the show tonight and this weekend, people will
Ask questions.
Ask a question.
They'll raise their hand and
Yeah.
ask me whatever about their love life, or I know love life is a big thing in Utica. I date a lot. Went out with a guy that was a doomsday prepper.
Oh.
And had to tell him there's no more prep. We're in Utica. We're in. We got it.
You've reached the place.
We're there.
That is stinking funny. Davey, do you have a question for Karen? I thought this might. I know you're going to be there tomorrow night.
Well, speaking of questions,
Okay.
that's the key. Does he have a question? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Do you have a question? Yeah. Ask about your love life and your mojo.
My love life?
Well,
that answers it right there. The way he said that. My love life.
you may be right. You're shaking your head. No, you don't want to go there. Is it that bad?
Not about my love life.
Okay. What about your mojo?
My mojo?
Yeah. What would your question be?
Will I ever get my mojo?
Back.
Mojo is a kind of a vague term, and I'm afraid to ask. But what does he mean? Is that
well,
his zest for life,
Yeah.
his enthusiasm.
life?
Yeah.
Not till 2028.
Oh, it's going to be that long.
Just
All right.
stay alert until then.
Well, we joked about this. I fall onto the skeptic side,
Yep.
but I enjoy a show like this because you see somebody, you draw your own conclusions, you fill in the blanks maybe a little bit. But then when you see them and they have a chance to ask a psychic a question that's important to them.
Right.
And it's entertaining to what is the important question to that person
Right.
that they need to know the answer
Yeah.
for tonight. I
Yeah.
think it's very telling about a person.
Yeah, or even when people are just joking around sometimes. I've had a lot of people come back and be like, wow, I didn't realize you were going to answer that question. So
Well, you have to, right?
Right?
You got to have an answer to
we
everything.
had the other night, though, I tell them if they're asking about a person they're with, they have to know I'm going to tell the truth. And
Right,
the other
right.
night, people stormed out because there was cheating.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like the
Oh.
worst first date ever. It was just over like that.
What has the? I mean, you've been doing comedy for how long?
Probably
few years.
30, 35 years.
What's the craziest? I mean, how is it different when you started to today?
How is comedy different?
Yeah, or is it not different?
You know what?
College campuses are, I'm told.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very
Yeah.
yeah. That's part of it that they want. I'm always pretty much making fun of me, so I don't fall too much into the offended category.
Right.
But one thing that I really like is when I started out, they used to go, "Oh, are you ready for a female comedian?" And people go, "Boo." Now people don't care. People really don't. Like, I think Hollywood is behind on that more so
Yeah,
because people
yeah.
just want to laugh. If they trust the club, they're going to go see whoever. So that's
Well,
really the good part.
There are some legendary comics, world-known legendary comics, who believe it. Man, maybe Jerry Lewis was one of them.
Oh, yeah, and
Believe
Milton
women
Berle
are-
didn't like women at
Women
all,
are
yeah.
not funny. Women. I mean, what did that say to somebody like Lucille Ball, right?
Yeah.
Or Phyllis Diller, or some of these unbelievably funny legends.
Yeah.
Women are not funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing is though, but as the world has evolved, comedy has as well. If you don't think a female comedian's funny, Karen could just walk up there and go, "Guess what? Tonight I'm a man."
Yeah.
Boom! I got jokes.
I identify as a man.
In this day and age, you could do all of that. So it'll be comedy, it'll be psychic, all of that put together.
Yeah.
And boy, do you have a lot to work with. I mean, with where we have been in the last couple of years with COVID and everything. I mean, people want a little spice. They want to get out. They want to to think that the future is going to be big.
Yeah, well, and it is a weird future, and everybody's a little bit traumatized, I think. So laughter is really the best thing. And I just been trying to stay busy here. I've been downsizing in my apartment, actually.
Oh.
Getting rid of stuff. But I don't like to waste things, so I'm taking all the pills that are in my cabinet right now. So
that should help.
Yes, I'm
That'll
kind
be
of on
nice.
an oxyhormone-free flea repellent right now. So. And I encourage people to bring all your pills, especially the ones on the bottom that say not to be used with alcohol, because those are the ones you've got to use with alcohol. Bring them all.
Will be hilarious. Okay, Karen Rontowski. Let's do another pair. Let's do a table for six. They can pick any show, Davey, tonight or tomorrow night.
Pick my show.
It'll be all her show. When I say any show, it's any show tonight or tomorrow, and that includes Karen Rontowski. And you got to check out Will Phillips. Talk about Will just a little bit.
Oh, Will is fantastic. I just met Phil
I'm sorry, first caller, 315-736-0186.
Yeah, we don't have time for anyone.
No
First
way.
first one in. Will is so funny. Also, I forget to tell you, I am an artist and I paint bottles, all the bottles that Fat Cats gave me, and I turn them into lamps, and we are going to raffle one off, or maybe the person that asked the best question.
Do you paint like liquor bottles?
Yes, I paint them. I should have brought one. I was going to bring them, and then I was
okay.
like, it's raining, which is, I don't know that's a good excuse.
Would the
but
paint
it's the
come
only one I
off if
have.
it's raining?
No, but
No,
I
okay.
would be sad.
You would be, yes. I understand
I don't even know what's going on.
So you're an artist on top of being an artist.
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yes, it's
and
all
you'll,
one.
And you'll have them there tonight and tomorrow.
Yes, so we'll be
Right.
raffling off prizes and really
Wow.
making it very special for Valentine's. It is it's such a good, guy, I don't really want to go out, but I got to do something show.
It takes the pressure off, especially if you're new to the relationship and you want to, it takes the
Yes.
pressure off the date.
Uh-huh.
Because you just, now it might get a little tricky as you ask a question and the focus is going to be on you. But for the most part, all pressure is off.
Right.
You can have a good time. It's interactive and all of that. And very cool.
You notice her reaction. She's like, "Yeah, right." I feel like this is like your own in-person dating app. You do the show. You come in. You go. You find somebody you're interested. You say, "Listen, it's not working out with them. You got to dump them." But your future, you'll meet your future tonight.
Exactly. That guy's a serial killer you're with.
Karen Rontowski, along with Will Phillips and others, tonight and tomorrow night at Fat Cats Comedy Club. Go to fatcatscomedyclub.com for details. We'll come right back. WIBX.
Missing the winter part of
You
winter
guys are
fun?
great.
Come to Old Forge for Winter Carnival this weekend. During this winter light, we've got the best parts of Winter Carnival. The Friday night skating party with a bonfire and music. Saturday, the party moves to Macaulay Mountain for a scavenger hunt and dinner specials with live music, torchlight skiing, and fireworks. Sunday is cardboard sled races, plus all the great skiing at Macaulay. Put fun back in winter this weekend at Old Forge.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try Babbel for free. That's BABBEL.com.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Paid for by Pharmavite.
Did you know estrogen decline can begin for women as early as 40 years old? This can lead to a number of symptoms associated with menopause, like hot flashes, mood changes, sleep disruption, and more. Equel can help. Equel is the only supplement made with S-Equol, a naturally derived plant-based ingredient that relieves symptoms of estrogen decline. In clinical trials, women taking Equel experienced 5 fewer hot flashes per day, 50 more minutes of sleep per night, alleviated mood swings, and more. Not sure if you're experiencing symptoms of estrogen decline? Reach out to Equel's customer support team for help navigating your symptoms. You can try a Quell risk-free for 90 days with a Quell's 90-day money-back guarantee. Get the support you need with a Quell. For more information and to get 20% off your first order, go to aquell.com/news. That's EQUELLE.com/news for 20% off. aquell.com/news.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
A manhunt is over in Maryland. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The suspected gunman in 2 police officer shootings in 2 days in Baltimore County taken into custody in another county after they finally got him surrounded.
Where he was in a very wooded area amongst a lot of large boulders and rocks, trying to seclude himself.
Harford County Sheriff Jeff Keeler says the officer shot late last night is on life support, the other now home recovering. It's been 4 days since earthquakes rocked Turkey and Syria. And amid all the misery and people now homeless, living in tents, and nearly 22,000 dead, there's still hope. A 17-year-old boy who says he drank his own urine to survive, pulled alive from the rubble today. A mother and her son and a baby, and a 10-year-old girl and several others have also been rescued. Another Russian barrage today hit Ukraine. More than 50 missiles launched. Some were shot down, some damaged critical infrastructure again the day after President Zelensky addressed the European Union Parliament.
Calling for more cooperation to fight the Russian invasion by supplying Ukraine with Western-made combat planes. Zelensky's remarks come as his troops face a new Russian advance in eastern Ukraine. The Russian offensive threatens to collapse Ukrainian positions along the front lines.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Kyiv. In Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu orders security forces to reinforce East Jerusalem after a suspected car ramming attack killed 2 people and wounded 5. President Biden has upset Republicans, telling Telemundo the Chinese spy balloon was not a major breach, but was
a violation of international law. It's our airspace. And once it comes in our space, we can do what we want with it.
GOP Senator Dan Sullivan tells Fox.
I don't agree at all. It's quite a big deal, and I think it's a wake-up call for America.
The full House unanimously passed a resolution condemning China. Former Vice President Pence, now caught up in the Trump investigation, subpoenaed by the special counsel probing the former president over classified documents and his post-2020 election conduct. America's listening to Fox News.
You know, people ask me all the time, Hannity, what kind of gun should I get? My answer is always the same. I tell them you got to check out my good friends at Henry Repeating Arms. Let me tell you why. They have over 200 models to choose from in both rimfire and centerfire calibers. They have their brand new 9mm semi-automatic carbine called the Henry Homesteader. By the way, one of my personal favorites. Now, it's ideal for home, property, business protection. And you can check it out by going to their website, henryusa.com. While you're there, you get a free catalog, free decals, and a list of dealers where you live. And check them out yourself. These are all top-quality, American-made firearms that are affordable, accurate, and reliable right out of the box. And when you buy a Henry, it'll be backed by their lifetime satisfaction guarantee and their award-winning customer service with experts who can help you. If you're in the market for a high-quality, American-made firearm, make sure you go to henryusa.com, get your free catalog decals, and a list of dealers where you are. You will love this company.
Mostly cloudy skies, 41 degrees. WIBX News Time is 8:03. This news update is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest tax refund plus a chance to double your refund with the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. U.S. residents 18 and older who file a 2022 federal return ends 4/2/23. Oneida County Sheriff Rob Maciel warning local residents to be on the lookout for a sob story scam that was successful on at least one person at the Rome Walmart. The sob story is classic. I lost my wallet. I need money to get back home. However, in this case, the man selling the story also presents a wife and 4 children that he points to in a nearby vehicle. Now, the victim in this case agreed to exchange money for some jewelry as collateral until the man could get back home. Soon after, he realized he had been taken advantage of. After reviewing security footage from Walmart, the couple conducting the scam was seen driving a white Ford Explorer. You can find photos of that SUV on our website, along with some of the jewelry that was exchanged. Sheriff Maciel says this scam has been going on across the country. It is unclear if the family involved is still in the region or if they've moved on to someplace else. The state legislature considering a plan to alter how some waterways are classified And local officials say it would negatively impact farmers, cripple snowmobiling, and create infrastructure headaches. Governor Kathy Hochul vetoed the bill near the end of last year, but it is once again circulating in committee this session. County Executive Picenti asking Hochul to again use her veto pen if it comes to her desk. Class C waterways would become protected streams under the bill, leaving design and approval decisions up to the state. He says the effort may be well-intentioned, but would negatively impact the region's economy and travel. In his letter to the governor, he points out that 80% of local bridges and culverts are located within Class C streams, meaning any necessary work to address infrastructure if there's a big storm or flooding would face unnecessary delays and cost increases. He says those burdensome regulations that would be involved also impact farmers, Oneida County's leading industry, and it would cripple snowmobiling as many of the region's snowmobiling trails crisscross those impacted streams. Love will be in the air, of course, soon, with Valentine's Day right around the corner, but the State Division of Consumer Protection is warning you not to fall for romance scams. The agency says romance scams occur when a criminal lies about their identity and feigns romantic interest so that they can take advantage of you. Officials say if someone you haven't met asks you for money, assume it's a scam. Also, never give out personal information to someone you've met online. Only use trusted online dating sites. And officials also remind you that you are able to do a reverse image search for an individual's profile photo to see if it is a phony that is linked to another name or to other accounts. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast: chance of rain showers this morning and again this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies. A high where we are now, lower 40s. Chance of rain showers tonight before midnight and after. An overnight low of 23 degrees. Saturday, chance of snow showers early, becoming gradually sunny by the afternoon, a high of 32. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 42 degrees. Right now, cloudy and 41 at 8:06.
Okay, from the IBEW Local 43 Sports Desk, it's the Eagles and the Chiefs for Super Bowl 57 this week. The Lombardi Trophy is on the line as the kickoff is Sunday evening. The Kansas City Chiefs square off with the Philadelphia Eagles in Glendale, Arizona. The Chiefs are back in the big game for the third time in the last 4 years and will be seeking their second Super Bowl title in the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes era. KC slipped past the Bengals in the AFC Championship game to advance to a showdown with Reid's former team in Philadelphia. The Eagles knocked off the San Francisco 49ers to win the NFC title and earned their first appearance in the big game since winning their lone Super Bowl championship following the 2017 season. History will be made when the kickoff happens. It'll be the first time ever two African-American quarterbacks start in a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts going toe-to-toe. The game will also feature brothers facing off for the first time in Super Bowl history as Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce goes up against his big brother Jason Kelce of the Philadelphia Eagles. And Mahomes was named the MVP of the NFL this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And, you know, it is what it is. I want to tell you that beyond that, the Comets tonight are home and on the road tomorrow night. So the Comets host Hershey tonight at the Adirondack Bank Center. We mentioned Super Bowl action. Last night in the NHL, somewhere I had scores. The Devils extended their winning streak following a 3-1 victory over over Kraken and Newark. They trailed 1-0 late in the second period, but came back to win 3-1. The Islanders fall short in a loss to the Canucks, losing to Vancouver 6-5. Tonight, the Knicks visit the 76ers. And, of course, tomorrow Colgate plays. Who do they play tomorrow? Do you know? Davey's on the phone. But they play tomorrow afternoon. So Syracuse is off until Valentine's Day.
Patrick Mahomes, as you mentioned, was named the MVP of the league for the regular season because he is one of the best players and best quarterbacks in the league. One of the worst quarterbacks in the league, the guy who coaches him, he was named Coach of the Year, that being Brian Daboll of the New York Giants, who got them to the playoffs despite the fact that Daniel Jones is your starting quarterback. While we've got Karen in, and I know we were going to touch base with Scott on his picks and predictions, I just figured since she was here.
Do you have a psychic pick for the Super Bowl?
Celtics.
Celtics. Good. I like it. I like it. Yeah, and you may
Wait
be right.
till you see the surprise when I am cashing in on that prediction.
Oh, I think that one would pay pretty good. I think. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
writing it in.
I love
it's
it.
It's a write-in candidate.
Davey, the Colgate plays who tomorrow?
They play Bucknell.
Bucknell.
At 12 on ESPN+. Plus.
We'll break. Karen Rontowski at Fat Cats Comedy Club this weekend. She's in studio. Coming up, Samantha Colosimo-Testa in reaction to, she was endorsed yesterday.
Yes.
She'll, as an at-large candidate, she'll react to the endorsements for mayor. Also, a rather surprise endorsement in Utica that didn't happen. Katie Aiello did not get endorsed, an incumbent not being endorsed. Interesting. And we have an advertising expert later on in the hour talking about the commercials to watch this weekend, the Super Bowl commercials that everybody's going to be looking for on Sunday night. 8:10 at WIBX.
Uncertainty, the unknown. These can be some of the greatest fears people face. There is a chance for a life of greater certainty that the Rome Rescue Mission provides. We call it a hand up, not a handout. The Rome Rescue Mission provides the basic necessities and the skills needed to start a new life. It starts simply with someone to talk to. Knowing that someone cares, the Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. The Rome Rescue Mission helps people start a new and promising life. Being in need is not a choice. Helping is. An unlimited future starts at the Rome Rescue Mission through your generous support. Make a difference and donate now. RomeMission.org. That's RomeMission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
Utica and the Mohawk Valley will soon be home to New York State's newest state-of-the-art medical center, the Wynn Hospital. But healthcare transformation is already underway. At MVHS, we're bringing talented, highly skilled healthcare professionals from around the country to our region. In the past year, MVHS has hired more than 60 new doctors and mid-level providers, and recruiting continues throughout the Northeast for nurses, physical therapists, radiology techs, lab positions, and more. Plus, the MVHS Medical Education Division is already bringing more physicians in training and medical students to our area through new residency programs and medical school partnerships. Today, we have 45 residents and 35 medical students doing their training at MVHS. By 2027, there will be more than 200 physician learners at the Wynn Hospital and other MVHS campuses. Our focus is on caring for our community with the best and brightest teams of caregivers, now and in the future. Mohawk Valley Health System. This is for you.
Hi, I'm Oneida County Executive Anthony Pacenti. Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opiates after a surgery 2 years ago, a broken bone last year, and a dental procedure last month. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. Holding on to unused medication like opiates puts your family at risk. Remove the risk by getting 2 free medication disposal bags mailed directly to your home. Hurry and don't delay. There's a limited supply.
Go to ocopioidtaskforce.org.
Spring is on the way, and if you're looking to make the most of it in a new RV, camper, boat, or trailer, then look to Mohawk Valley FCU. Right now, you can get up to 120-month financing for as low as 5.74% APR for any new recreation vehicle. That's 120 months of financing for as low as 5.74% APR. Go to MohawkValleyFCU.org for more info and to apply today. Mohawk Valley FCU, member-focused, member-driven.
They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed, and a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times 2, twice the money, so forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Promotion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for rules.
Hey, the Falcon Clinic is a primary care medical clinic in Washington Mills. If you're looking for a new primary physician, there's Dr. Zielinski, Dr. Shemileski, of course, even offering acupuncture with Dr. Kosminski, all under one roof. And it's the Falcon Clinic located in Washington Mills. Aches, pains, fatigue. Have you been tested for hepatitis C? Dr. Shemileski is a Hep C certified physician, And did you know that hepatitis C is 100% curable? Call the Falcon Clinic today at 315-507-4751. And when it comes to medical marijuana, both Dr. Shemaleski and Dr. Zielinski believe it's something that should be considered. If that interests you, contact the Falcon Clinic today. Online, falconclinic.com. Call 315-507-4751 for the Falcon Clinic. I also want to tell you that Tim Reed and Real Men Get Tested for Cancer giving away Jimmy Fallon tickets, but not just giving them away. We are auctioning them off. And right now, Davey, the current bid on this is held by who and what? How much?
Carol from Whitesboro's at $300, Bill.
$300. And this is what she'd receive. 2 tickets to the Jimmy Fallon Show next Friday night at 7 o'clock. 4 Utica Comets tickets. 4 Pioneers playoff tickets. This is pending qualification, but we expect them to get there. 4 Utica City FC tickets. Tickets to Broadway Utica. A $250 gift card to Utica Fun and Food. That's good at any of the restaurants that are included here. Aquavino, 72 Tavern and Grill, Babes, Cookies, concessions at Nexus and the Adirondack Bank Center. All there, plus a table for 6 at Fat Cats Comedy Club, and that excludes the Jimmy Fallon Show. On top of all of this, Tim Reed will match your bid. So if the final bid is $300, $600 is raised for Real Men Get Tested. Every penny goes to Real Men Get Tested for Cancer, realmengettested.com. And the bidding right now is at $300. Scott in Kirkville on the line right now. Scott is a betting expert. And are you also would you say that doesn't necessarily make you a winning expert, does it?
No, well, it makes me somebody that thinks that they know how to beat the system and they have angles, and
Fair
you
enough.
play the angles, and everybody's got an angle, and luckily the angles I have played over the years has given me at least a plus, and you know it's great when you follow teams like the Syracuse, for example.
Right.
You hope you hit it before the market changes. I've been a Gonzaga fan where I was betting first half overs. Gonzaga comes out and punches them out. For example, last night they scored 60 points in the first half. Well, the market's now catching up to a point where you have to, totals going to be 80, 85 points for both teams, where for a while it was 70, 75. So you got to know when the market's going to start bidding you. And that's the biggest thing, is go under the radar until the market catches up with you. And that's the biggest thing, is you're going to win. Well, one big thing before we start talking Super Bowl, the best Super Bowl party I went to actually involved WIBX. It was about 34 years ago at the Wiffle Tree Inn. I was helping friends out who actually owned the Wiffle Tree Inn, and I was helping out the entertainment. We got Danny Cleanscale and IBX to do a live remote outdoors for the Cincinnati-San Francisco Super Bowl, and it worked out great. It was the only day in January it was over 35 degrees, but everybody had a great time and involved IBX.
Well, that was back when winters were cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's when they had a game in January, too.
Right.
By
the way,
that was a fun time, but IBX did a great job.
The Wiffle Tree is the former towpath, right, down in Ilion.
The
is that
former
right?
towpath, correct. Yeah, towpath, and then these guys, friends of mine, bought the Wiffle Tree in the mid '80s, and I helped them with the entertainment because they weren't from the area. So I got the bands I thought would do well, and we got actually sports trivia by IBX on every Thursday night for a while. So IBX was kind of a really big part in the late '80s.
Okay, very cool. All right, so what do you think? What are the what are the games? What are the bets people could make a little money on this weekend?
Well, I think, and you had, was it Nago thought that the
35,
Eagles were going to kind of beat up on Kansas City, so they got like alternative point spreads, and if you're willing to give away 14.5 points with the Eagles, for every, let's say everything's broken down for 100, but you don't have to bet 100, you can bet a lot less, but for every $100 you bet, you can win 414.
Wow.
So if you think it's going to be a blowout, you might want to go alternative point spread. And if you're a Kansas City fan, it's the same thing, because you can make them a 2.5 point favorite now, and then you can get plus 126.
Right.
Instead of giving up the juice. I think what Jeff was talking about is find out players you think are going to score.
Yes.
Because that's where the odds are.
I'll give you an example. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, no, finish your thought, and I'll pull up some of the outstanding odds that I have compiled
as far as fringe players you're talking about, Jeff, because you can get 20-1. And also I like if you're just betting I call that pizza money where you don't put a lot of money down because you can get 9-10-1 odds. Even Kelsey I think was 7-2, 5-1 depends where you went. So you can actually make money on an obvious person. But Scanlon's been big around the goal line for Kansas City, and the running obviously Sanders will get the ball around the goal line for Philadelphia. And so therefore, players like that, and you can just bet a couple dollars. I prefer betting the second and third quarters over, and you're hoping that the first quarter they're driving toward the end zone and the clock runs out.
Right.
Therefore, they score in the second quarter, but theoretically they scored in the first. In the third quarter, you hope it's separation at halftime where the team's got to make a move.
Right.
So I usually bet second, third quarter over-unders. But the alternative point spreads, and for example, this way, if you think it's going to be a super low-scoring game, you can get an over-under at 35.5, and I think you can get plus 375.
Wow. Well,
you think it's going to be a 17-10 score? Don't bet the over flat. Might as well get the alternative. It gives you different the point spreads. It's not, it's everything. You get the 27 or 35 or 42. And if you think it's going to be under, usually you get on the plus side. Or if you think it's going to be high, you get 63. I think you get plus 220 if you think it's going to be over 63 points. So that's where I would go.
What do you have, Jeff?
Just an example here. So I've got each of the tight ends. Now, I have a 4-pick parlay. Each of these players has to catch or run a touchdown. Passing touchdowns don't count. But I got both tight ends, Kelsey and Goddard, both very dominant tight ends. Patrick Mahomes, now that's the tricky one because of his ankle. But the odds on him are better. So, and Jalen Hurts has games where he will, believe it or not, your quarterback runs for 4 touchdowns a game. It's crazy. So if you go Kelsey, Hurts, Goddard, and maybe I'm wishing on a prayer for Mahomes. If that happens, that's 80-1 odds.
Hurts is also, I read a stat yesterday, I think he is number 1 in the NFL for quarterback sneak.
It's amazing.
So if they get into any situation where they're down on the goal line, you can expect him scoring a touchdown.
And if you look, too, and Scott knows more about this as well when we're talking about certain players, but like you look, they have a very good run game if you look at yardage, and they score a lot of rushing touchdowns, and then you look at the running backs and you go, who? That guy hasn't scored a touchdown in 6 weeks because Hurts takes them all in.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a prop bet for the shortest touchdown, less than a yard and a half, and I was thinking the Eagles, because you're right. They seem to run the ball, and they always seem to be around the goal line.
Yep.
So that might be a nice prop bet. Just to have fun. Just say the shortest touchdown is going to be less than a year. And against San Francisco and Kansas City, I think Kansas City had 2 touchdowns inside the 1-yard line because they had 2 fourth down and goals to go. And that's another thing, guys. Philadelphia's going to go for it, and they have like field goal props over under, but the Eagles will go for it 4th and short more than probably any other team. So there's another prop bet if you think it's going to be field goals. They have one over. The longest one's going to be 46.5 over. I'd go over the way that KC will pull up with their field goal guy. The guy's 60 yards plus, where the Eagles will probably go for it more than not.
And this is am I correct in saying this is the first time these two teams have played each other, right? There has been no crossover. They didn't play
earlier
in
this
preseason
year?
or anything like that.
No,
so this is it.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know what to expect when you put these two teams together.
Well, I look at the weather conditions, and this is going to be the perfect condition. That to me, wind is more important than rain because of the technology, just with the wind, and that's why I sort of like Kansas City scoring the over 24 points because the two playoff games they played in nasty weather. I mean, they played in 5-degree temperature with a 30-mile-an-hour wind, and in the Jacksonville game, remember it was snowing a little bit and spitting, and they still moved the ball.
Yeah.
Where ironically Philadelphia played in better conditions. Now, what I say about Philadelphia, I think they're a good team. I know Nagel and Nagel agrees. What I'm saying about Kansas City is that Jalen Hurts is more unique. It's not the best quarterback they're going to face all year. He's the most unique quarterback, maybe, where I think Philadelphia, Mahomes is the best quarterback they're going to face. So I'm kind of interested to see how Philadelphia's vault of defense does against the best quarterback they're seeing, where KC has seen Burrows twice, Allen once, Herbert twice, even Carr. So it's more unique, but Jalen Hurts isn't going to be the best quarterback they've seen. Yeah. So that's that was my point of the conversation. I agree with Nagel. Phil could do it, but that's why you like alternative point spreads.
Scott,
Yep.
I hope you make a ton of money at the Turning Stone this weekend.
We'll do.
The betting lounge is really cool over there. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
you should see the betting lounge at my house.
The biggest
I'll bet
thing,
it's awesome.
One quick thing,
comfortable.
If you're able to do it, this is a great game to bet in game because I think it's going to be a little bit back and forth. But if you're going to bet the money line for Philadelphia, wait and you're going to do it the game and hope KC gets a little bit of a lead because the money line's going to be in your favor.
Right.
So that's what I would do. I'll wait in game. You're going to bet money line stuff.
All right, Scott. Good luck. Maybe we'll talk Monday. Okay,
good, guys. Okay,
Take care,
guys. Good luck to you now.
All right. Thanks so much.
I hate to say this,
Scott in Kirkville.
I'm not making light of it.
Betting master, he calls himself.
I'm not making light of it. I'm just making an analogy.
Call himself that, but.
And the analogy is that in-game betting, though, I feel like is opioids. Right? It's that.
Man, you could be chasing.
That's the next play. Then it just becomes something you have to do now to watch a game.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there was a player named Gronkowski, and my name is Rontowski. And I think someone should have told me because one day I was jogging by a bar and I thought everyone was screaming about what a great tight end I have.
Karen Gronkowski. I mean, Gronkowski is this weekend at Fat Cats Comedy Club. It's psychic comedy, right? It's a
psychic stand-up.
It is a completely different approach. This is not your typical stand-up show.
Right. There's a lot of stand-up in it, so you're going to have the fun, and then I'm going to read tarot cards, which is really hard. People don't understand. A lot of people don't want to hear the truth.
You're right.
The other day I told a woman, you need to leave that man. He's crazy. And she said, I know, but he's still your father.
Oh, I love you. Let me break and we'll come back. Sam, test it quickly. Stefan, you can hold on. I'll try to get to you here coming up. And as we said, we'll talk about the Super Bowl commercials. An advertising expert, and Karen Ronkowski is in studio here this morning.
I'll be selling some jewelry in the parking lot after the show tonight. So.
And by the way, I have comments on. So what do you think on that? I mean...
I don't, if it was $5, I'd be like, I would make that same mistake, but it was like a lot of money.
$1,300.
Yeah,
Yeah, here's some people commenting. Some guy in the 540. Those are the same people who fall for the beggars on the side of the road or parking lot, or the calls that my grandson is in jail in Texas and we need Apple gift cards to get him out.
Yes.
And people fall for that. One Shot Scott says the man made himself a victim, a big dummy. Why did he fall for that?
He needs a psychic.
You're right.
Stand there and say no and make fun of him at the same time.
Don't do that. Why are you doing that? What is wrong? Do you have anything there?
Yes. I love our audience and some of the comments they come up with. So Lance and Lee, who's often critical, especially of elected politicians, said, look, I'm not beating my own chest here, and I'm not saying that I'm a psychic, but you'll remember I texted you a month ago on this app to tell you the Complete Streets disaster would cost Katie and Celeste in the upcoming election.
He did. He did
say that.
You are absolutely correct. I remember it.
Alan Herkimer says your YouTube live stream is awesome. Thank you so much for setting it up, although they'd rather see Karen than my face.
I doubt that. Not this morning.
We are working on it. We are working on that, but it's up and running.
And Bernie in Utica says, we mentioned the Glenn Miller Orchestra. It's worthy to note that Glenn Miller was a pilot in World War II and disappeared during combat.
Yeah, and
I didn't know that.
And then the band has continued. We saw the Glenn Miller Orchestra play in Rome, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. Might have been just before COVID. And it's one of the longest running bands in history. Pretty cool, but it was on this date.
I thought you were going to say the longest show you've ever seen.
We
couldn't get out.
You could not leave. You could not get out of there. One other comment here. Mike says, if somebody was asking me who I like in the Super Bowl, I think I would look at it differently as the Bills fan. It's who I hate less. I think that's really true.
Yeah, me too. That's why I won't root for the Eagles.
I'm rooting for the Eagles.
I only hate one team.
He also says, I wonder if George Santos is the guy in the Walmart parking lot with a $1,300 scam. May very well be. It could very well be.
And we were just talking about Katie Aiello. communicating with her right now. She's going to come on next week to talk about it. But she said, just to be clear, what happened last night doesn't have anything to do with Complete Streets. That's her side of it.
Yeah.
And we'll let her explain when she comes on next week. But
she's an incumbent, did not get the nomination. That's a big deal. Let me quickly take Sam Testa. I want her take. Sam, I got like 3 minutes. We're backed up terribly, and I thank you for waiting. Your take,
no problem.
Your take on first on the Katie Aiello, the fact that she didn't get nominated. What's your thought?
I'm not surprised. And it had nothing to do with the Complete Streets. That was a whole ploy and setup, to be honest with you. And unfortunately, she took the bait for that. I think it had to do more with the fact that Katie aligned herself with Celeste and Delvin at the time, and tried to take Frank Miola out as chair. So that was a long time coming.
So this is a Frank Miola move.
Yeah, I believe. Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
interesting. Who, for those who don't know, is the leads the Democratic Party in the city. Interesting. Okay. And then on the mayoral endorsements, what are your thoughts?
Oh no, I mean I'm 110% behind Mike Galimi. I think that he's proven himself over the past 8 years. Very knowledgeable, well respected, and I think that he'll do a great job.
You wouldn't take the experience of Bob Cardillo?
It has nothing to do with the experience of Bob Cardillo. Bob Cardillo was the endorsed candidate back in 2011 for the Republican Party and lost the election. I think that, moving forward, now that we don't have an incumbent running for mayor, Rob Palmieri's done with his 12 years, hopefully, doesn't pop up as a candidate for mayor.
Yeah.
This time around, I think that, Mike was the better choice at this point in time.
Okay, all right.
It's interesting you said 12 years ago he lost the election, because I think some would say he lost the primary, then stayed in the race, and then lost the party the election. Right.
Well, I mean, and that's hopefully that, the history doesn't repeat itself, especially with the Conservative Party going to any other candidate besides Mike. I think that, we have put our endorsement. We've got a great ticket this time around. Myself, Mike Galimi, Rock Durizzi, Mark Williamson running as citywide candidates, I think is a pretty decent slate.
Your citywide candidates are essentially the Republicans who are on the council now, plus Rock Durizzi, who is a former councilman who's now been endorsed for council president.
Yes,
right.
Yes. And, and Rock served a great 8 years on the council during his tenure.
All right.
And I think is well respected in the community.
Are you surprised on the DeBrango nomination? I don't think people are surprised
not at all. I
Yeah.
got to be honest with you. I mean, this is, I was laughing when I saw a post by Celeste earlier today that said it's the good old boys club. I mean, if you look at the past year on the council, everyone, including Katie and Celeste, have benefited from the good old boys club by, holding a majority on the council for the past year, changing committee systems, getting the Board of E&A appointment. There's been a number of things that have aligned with themselves, to benefit from who is in charge, So I think that I'm not surprised by DeBrango getting the endorsement at all.
Sam Testa, thank you for the time. We appreciate it. We'll do this again soon.
Absolutely, guys. Take care.
Have a great day.
And go Philadelphia.
Go Eagles.
Get out
Go
of
Eagles.
here, Sam.
I'm with you. Go Eagles. All right. Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, David Miklett is president of Elevation 10,000. Over the last 15 years, he's been bringing big ideas into focus, is an expert on advertising, and can talk about the big game, Super Bowl commercials. It's what some people look for on Sunday. David, good morning.
Good morning. I've got Mike Farrell, our Director of Design and Development here. He is the madman behind all of the incredible films that we produce over here for clients.
Okay, nice.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So what do you think? In years past, we used to wait and anticipate, and it'd be the first time, think about that legendary Apple commercial that goes back to, what was that, 1984?
84.
But now a lot of these commercials come out online before they're seen the week before during the Pro Bowl. I mean, what do you expect this year? Will it be like that this year?
It actually is. Other than the biggest lock and key out there right now is Dunkin' Donuts is doing their very first Super Bowl commercial, and it is completely under lock and key. It is secret. They have not released anything. Even to the point where they haven't released what break it's going to air in the game.
Wow.
So they're being very hush-hush about it.
You know, so much of advertising has to do with separating yourself from the crowd, right? So when you could get all the Super Bowl commercials, it was the trend. You could watch them the weekend before. You could see it before it happened, right?
Yeah.
That was cool. I like this approach because almost everyone, you can watch days before, but you must watch the Super Bowl and look for this commercial if you want to see it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think a smart move on their part.
Yeah. And the value of having a Super Bowl commercial, I think today would increase because you now have YouTube and online platforms where people can go searching for them afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the more you see an ad, the more reaction you're going to get for it. So I mean, it makes sense that some of these people release them early and get more exposure out of it. They take advantage of that.
It's a different climate nowadays. So when you're on this stage, though, you of course would have to be mindful of offending somebody. How do you guys look at the way the world has evolved and how businesses seem to sometimes get themselves in trouble and with the wrong audience for the wrong joke or the wrong comment?
Yeah, I think there's one or two every year that are a little cringeworthy, where it's a question of was that in good taste, or even on our end, when we're looking from the professional perspective, is how did that make that through the boardroom? A lot of people had to raise their hand and say, that's good. Yeah, let's go, before that made it to air. And you really wonder how that made it through. I think the one that everybody's really looking at right now is to M&M's as to what their play is there, where they've kind of caught in a bit of a controversy. And I think from our end, looking at it, it really is a very expensive, elaborate Super Bowl stunt. And I think the push with Maya Rudolph this week is going to come to a resolution in their spot, to the point that they have announced that it is the third break in the second quarter, and it has become destination programming. So Mike had mentioned this here in the office this morning, that I've never been excited to tune in for an M&M's commercial, but I am this year.
Yeah, you want to see what's going to happen there. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder, are these errors or forced errors?
That's
I think for M&M, I think that was an error on their part. I don't think they expected this to blow up like it did. But the way they've reacted since then, I think they've taken advantage of the extra publicity, and they brought in Maya Rudolph and can use her humor to kind of change the narrative before they bring back the characters this weekend. So we're kind of all wondering, how that's going to unfold.
What is the spot that you guys are most or least impressed with?
Great question, Mike.
Most impressed with, from a funny perspective, I thought the Bush commercial was pretty funny.
Okay.
Survival Guide with Sarah McLachlan. Effective. Pepsi and Steve Martin commercial, I thought was really great too. Great acting, great taste. Had a good message to it.
And then, is there a least impressive?
I actually thought that Mike and I had a back and forth on this across our entire company. It's been a big conversation piece. I thought that Bush commercial was it's a very forgettable commercial, and I thought it was a big missed opportunity. In that, you look at the point of you're spending $7 million for that 30 to $14 million for a 60-second spot, to have something that ultimately is forgotten the next day.
Right.
And that really is the goal, is to come out of the game with something that's going to drive brand mentions. And ultimately, if you have a spot that just doesn't resonate, people don't remember it, it's a big gamble.
Yeah. I do say sometimes we get so creative and so clever that the message gets lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where I think there's one spot in particular I think is going to be the big conversation piece coming out of this game, and it's an HRIS software company out of Silicon Valley. It's called Workday. Well, they've pulled in Paul Stanley, Joan Jett, Billy Idol, and Ozzy Osbourne, Gary Clark Jr. into this spot. It was about $1.5 million to produce. They've done a 60, a 30, and two 15-second versions that are all going to air in-game. Wow. So they're north of $20 million in production time. And they announced the spot the week after they laid off 400 people in Silicon Valley. So they're part of the tech layoffs going on out there right now.
Wow.
So I think it was in poor taste, but I think as that story gets out, that they've put, their $25+ million between production and airtime after they've just had a large series of layoffs.
That's crazy, boy. That is just not going to be perceived as popular. And you mentioned $25 million. So all in to pay to air the spot and to produce it, you're talking about $25 million.
Yes. So they've got a 60-second version that was north of $14 million, a 30-second version at $7 million, and then two 15s plus $1.5 million in production between paying Ozzy and Paul Stanley and Billy Idol.
Wow.
Yeah. So
boy, the narrative
really
for this could be, and the negative that you guys are alluding to is, look, this commercial, our Super Bowl commercial, came in over budget. So we kept the commercial and we got rid of hundreds of staff members.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And then, imagine if because of the negative press, it has a negative effect. That is the worst $25 million ever spent.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Can I ask you guys, before we let you go, the two standbys, when I think of Super Bowl commercials, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think of Coca-Cola and Budweiser. You had another one?
I was going to say Clydesdale. Budweiser.
Right, yeah. Budweiser, Coca-Cola. Are they in this year, and what is to be expected if they are?
I did not see Coca-Cola. I saw Pepsi. There's a couple Pepsi commercials, I believe. Budweiser is in it.
I really like the Budweiser spot.
It didn't get me.
6 degrees of Budweiser, so it's kind of playing off the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Okay.
It starts out with a very nostalgic tone. There's a lot of very nostalgic feelings. Everyone really leaned into nostalgia in 80s and 90s feelings this year in the commercials. And they lead off with an old nostalgic shot of a commercial from, I think, the 60s. And then it's everybody kind of sharing a Budweiser as it's going across the 6 degrees of Bud. And I thought it was well put together.
All right, cool.
Not the Clydesdales, though. No Clydesdales.
No Clydesdales. Wow, okay. Gentlemen, thank you. It's one of the big elements that is really important to a lot of people on Super Bowl Sunday is the commercials. So pretty cool.
It is.
All right, guys. Thanks for the time and enjoy the weekend.
Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
All right.
Enjoy the game.
Thanks so much. They work at Elevation 10,000 is the name of their ad agency. And to think about that, $25 million production and placement fees, and you lay off how many people?
Hundreds.
Yeah, not good.
And again, was that the plan initially, that we've budgeted $25 million, or did we go way off budget and have to scramble and it cost people their job?
Not good. Not good. 8:42, we'll come back. Stefan, hang on. I'll take you next to WIBX.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Alfred State University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Alfred State is proud to strengthen our long history of working with unions to create non-traditional pathways for career advances in the skilled trades.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Every day, more than 250 people from all walks of life die from a drug overdose. They include our families, friends, and our neighbors. Their deaths are preventable with a simple first aid tool. Naloxone, also known by the brand name Narcan, is first aid and it saves lives. It's easy to use and can be administered by anyone. Oneida County wants to get it into as many businesses and homes as possible. Sign up online and receive an overdose rescue kit with 2 doses of Narcan nasal spray for free. Go to ocgov.net and click on Save a Life to request your free kit.
Every day at NBT Bank, we focus our business around all the ways we can help yours. We're large enough to offer leading business and digital solutions, but local enough to ensure personalized one-on-one service. So turn to NBT Bank for a full range of business solutions, like capital and treasury management services, even fraud protection, and see how NBT Bank is just the right size to help you do big things. Visit nbtbank.com to learn more and start a conversation. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Tax season isn't fun for a lot of reasons, including that you put a ton of your sensitive information all in one place.
All right, I call to order this annual meeting of Sean's sensitive info. Sean's home address, are you in attendance?
Present.
Sean's social security number?
Right here. But that also means, especially during tax season, it can be dangerously easy to steal your identity.
Sean's account info? Hey, anyone seen account info?
Not me.
Hello? Account info? Or Sean's login? Oh no, they've been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself by monitoring your info and alerting you to potential identity threats. If you become a victim, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it during tax season and beyond. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year at LifeLock.com with promo code NEWS. That's promo code NEWS for 25% off. LifeLock. Identity theft protection starts here.
Milk, eggs, $42. Ma'am, you okay?
Need bucks? With Jackson Hewitt, don't wait weeks for the IRS to send your tax refund. Come in now for up to $3,500 with a no-interest, no-fee refund advance loan when you file your taxes. That's up to $3,500 today. Don't let high prices get you down. When every dollar matters, it matters who does your taxes. So get to Jackson Hewitt today. For eligible clients, loans by Republic Bank and Trust Company. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Every day, more than 250 people from all walks of life die from a drug overdose. They include our families, friends, and our neighbors. Their deaths are preventable with a simple first aid tool. Naloxone, also known by the brand name Narcan, is first aid and it saves lives. It's easy to use and can be administered by anyone. Oneida County wants to get it into as many businesses and homes as possible. Sign up online and receive an overdose rescue kit with 2 doses of Narcan nasal spray for free. Go to ocgov.net and click on Save a Life to request your free kit.
For your financial advice to be useful, it needs to be tailored to how you live your life. I'm Jim McGuire, branch manager of Baird's Utica office. At Baird, we provide investment and financial planning for all areas of your life: retirement, family, and estate plans, and charitable giving. Plus, we coordinate our advice with your tax and legal advisors, so you can be confident all of your plans are working together for you. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdUtica.com.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Well, it's Super Bowl weekend, and maybe you're having some people over to your place, or maybe you're going somewhere else, and you're looking for that perfect thing to serve. Well, I got to tell you that artisanal cheese and Hemstratz has you covered. Their half moons are still the best, and that's where they came from. The originators of, voted best of the best for good reason. And they have great Valentine's half moons as well for that special day. And, of course, artisanal premium cheese. You could bring in a charcuterie board. They do the wooden boxes, which are round, and they have a little bow on them. Great to take to a party, and it's just delicious. There are little cards with every block of cheese explaining what it is. And, of course, that's perfect for Valentine's Day as well. Order online at artisanalcheese.com for in-store pickup or shipping anywhere. They do it. And weekends are perfect with the Weekender. It's a box of cheeses, half moons, charcuterie meats and breads and pastries, all there. One pickup, and they're open 7 days a week. So whether it's an artisanal cheese charcuterie board or Hemstratz wonderful half moons, think Super Bowl, think Valentine's Day. It's open 7 days a week. Hemstratz Bakery and Artisanal Cheese, 900 Oswego Street in Utica.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, in studio, Karen Rontowski has a great story. Can you tell that story?
I sure can, but I want to say, first of all, I don't think anyone knew what a charcuterie board was until Dr. Oz screwed up.
I think that's good.
That is it. So this was an old gambling story from my dad. And he had a friend that was a poker player, only played poker all the time, was walking out of a casino. This is his psychic. I think men have psychic abilities in gambling and stocks, and they don't. And he says, sees a machine, guy sitting next to a machine, says, I'm just going to throw $1 in it, throws $1 in it, pulls the guy next to him, goes, no. Hits it big, like and
you can hit a lot of money on
a
those.
lot of money.
Yeah.
Couple of guys in suits come out, grab them, pulling them back. They interrogate them for a couple hours.
Really?
Turns out that was a payoff, an FBI payoff to a snitch. And he wasn't supposed, like the other guy was supposed to be watching that machine. He fell asleep. He had one job. And
watch the machine.
Right, watch the machine.
And he blew it.
And they had to give him the money.
Wow.
But they knew from that card. They were like, you only play poker. Why would you ever put $1 in that particular machine at this time?
He had $1 left. And he's like, what am I going to do with $1? Let's take one last shot.
Yep.
Yeah. The story I alluded to.
Well,
during
you could save that $1. That's what my wife would say.
Yeah.
A roommate of mine in college would always refuse to spend his last $1. He said, my father taught me growing up, you never want to spend your last $1. So he would refuse to spend. He would borrow money from me so he didn't have to spend that last $1.
That's superstition. That's
well,
weird.
that's superstitious, but technically, if he's borrowing from you, he's kind of spending that last $1.
He's doing the worst.
That is true.
Yeah, don't put yourself in the position that used to be years ago when you'd leave like maybe a casino and you'd get on the thruway and then realize, oh, my God, let's pull over and look under the seat for change. Now, I don't want to say I've ever been there.
They don't change
I was
anymore.
younger. What are you going to do?
Now you can't do change. No
you
more change.
can't even do it, right?
And to the point about my college roommate, technically, he didn't spend that last $1 if he never returned the money. So I was the sucker there.
Okay.
I mentioned a story as we were talking about casinos and winning, and the story Karen had there. As it turns out, this story dates back to 2016, but it made the rounds late last year and early this year. A woman from Queens, New York, was playing at Resorts World Casino in August 2016. Jackpot machine goes off, tells her she's won $42.9 million. She posed with the machine for photos, put them on social media, went to go cash out. The single mother of 4 was playing slots, a slot machine game called Sphinx. The collectors said the machine malfunctioned. You actually won $2.25. Dan Bank.
The machine malfunctioned?
And apparently they have these little disclaimers on those machines. The casino personnel were able to determine the figure displayed on the machine was a, quote, obvious malfunction. He added it was later confirmed by the State Gaming Commission, which investigated. Machine malfunctions are rare, they said, but we would like to extend our apologies to Mrs. Bookman for any inconvenience. They offered her a free steak dinner as a way to apologize.
Oh, nice. That's good.
She replied by taking them to court. Essentially, her argument from the attorney was, you can't claim a machine is broken because you don't want to pay it out. You know, give the woman her money. This article says 6 years later, we don't know how it was resolved. Maybe there was a private settlement, but they said they don't know how it was resolved.
Well, if you don't know, my guess is there was a settlement and non-disclosure.
But the argument, and it makes sense to me, does that mean the machine wasn't inspected if it's prone to malfunction? Does it mean it's not being properly maintained if it's going to malfunction? Does that mean people have been playing here before and actually have zero chance of winning? Because when someone wins, you're going to say it broke, then you're probably not paying anything out.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting
Never
story.
goes the other way, where you like cash in 2 and they give you $45 million. Never goes that way.
That's exactly right. I had a situation where I went to the ATM, which is, for me, like a slot machine. I put my card in, the money doesn't come out. What the hell? So literally happened to me where I took out a couple $100 and the receipt came out, said I took out the money, but no money came out.
Oh.
Now, one of the good things there is I'm going to imagine that was caught on camera. Yeah,
it was caught on camera. I called the bank, and this was an ATM behind the banks there on Genesee Street.
Okay,
near the Stanley district over there.
Yeah,
and so I called, and she said, "Ooh, there must have been a malfunction." She said, "Well, the good news is it's caught on camera. The bad news is I have to put in a report." And it usually takes up to 2 weeks for you to get your money back. I'm like, okay, well,
2 weeks isn't bad.
Not too bad, right? Unless I'd taken out more and I'd emptied my bank account, which you really can't do at the ATM anyway. However, I was driving home and I looked at my app and they put it in immediately, so the money was put right back anyway. But that can happen, and which is why I no longer ever hit no receipt.
Right.
Oh, I always hit no receipt.
I always hit no receipt.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't hit no receipt. Because then now I got to rely on the cameras. I had no receipt.
I've told you the fake $50 in the ATM story.
That's crazy.
That happens.
That is unbelievable.
Where an ATM gives you a fake 50?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he lost it.
So as it turned out, though, the ATM gave me the fake 50. Ultimately, I did get the money back because it was not a 50. The story was that it kept coming up on the markers and other tests that they have.
Okay.
But I literally took it right out of the ATM, went down the road to the store. The woman marked it, and the cashier was actually at Holland Farms. She goes, and she knows me from the show. She goes, Jeff, I'm supposed to call the police when this happens.
Yeah, you've been printing money.
I'm like, look, I swear, I just got this. And I said, look, I'm going to go right back to the bank. She let me go. And I went back to the bank, and the funniest thing was...
And they replaced it at the bank?
Well, it got sent to somebody who handles currency. I can't think of the bureau or the department.
Federal Tobacco and...
They tested it, sent me a letter, and
Secret
then
Service.
I had to go to the bank.
Secret Service, actually.
Yeah, Secret Service. And I had to go back, and ultimately I got the $50 back. But the funny thing was, when I talked to my customer service person at the bank or whatever, I'm like, I need the $50, okay? And she goes, well, where did you get it? And I said, your ATM right here this morning. She goes, the one in the lobby or out in the drive-thru? And I go, the one out in the lobbies. And she goes, oh, thank gosh. And I go, that means I can get it back? She goes, no, but I was in charge of the ones outside. I wanted to make sure it wasn't my problem.
That's funny.
Where's my money?
Here's Stefan Drabitsky. Good morning, Stefan.
Well, hello, Bill.
Hello, Stefan. Hello. Happy Super Bowl weekend.
Now, my Super Bowl pick, and I'm sorry, Jeff, but I have to say, fly, Eagles, fly.
I'm with you.
And the Eagles are my pick because Kansas City is big rivals with the Bills.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the Eagles. I think the final score will be 31-21.
All right, 31-21 Eagles.
You know what, Stefan? I'm going to give you credit because I just heard a stat that 6 or 7 of the last 13 Super Bowl winners, the winning team had a 1 as the second digit in their score.
Oh, interesting.
So how do you like that? That's probably a good pick.
Stefan, thanks for the pick. You have a...
yeah, I'm going with that.
All right, you have a wonderful weekend, man. Thank you.
Okay, bye, Bill.
And by the way, you're having a Super Bowl party, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I will not be able to make it. I apologize, but I wish you guys the best. Have a blast, and go Eagles.
Go Eagles.
All right, thank you. Here's Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Yeah, what Jeff failed to mention in that story, I may have listened late, but that $100 bill, it got rejected because he found it in the parking lot, actually.
Ha, ha, ha. Very funny.
All right, Andrew, Mr.
All right,
Humor.
had to get it in.
You got it in.
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles, yes.
Are you kidding me? Go Eagles. Get out of here, Andrew.
No, I'm just saying, they're the better team defensively and offensively. I just, that's what I think.
Andrew needs work done at his house. He's kissing up the nagel. That's what's going on there. All right, Andrew.
See you guys later.
Enjoy the weekend. Thank you. Karen, this weekend at Fat Cats Comedy Club, it's stand-up.
Psychic stand-up.
And psychic stand-up.
It's psychic fun. Check out the clips on Instagram.
And again, if you don't believe in the psychic stuff.
Even more fun.
Yeah.
Even more fascinating and fun. And it's a lot of crowd work, which is my favorite thing to do. And that is off the cuff.
Love
fun.
it. Karen Rontowski along with Will Phillips, who does afternoons on OUR. He travels the country on the weekends. Very funny guy. Okay, I want to tell you, River Hills Properties, the fastest growing real estate company here in the area. It's all, and just so happened, we just spoke with Andrew Derminio. How about, this is becoming like, this is the training ground for River Hills Properties here now. So Andrew met the Monjos and began selling homes for River Hills Properties. You know who's doing it now? Down the hallway is Polywog. Down the hallway, both of them are have become real estate agents with River Hills Properties. Your agents are there on your side, on your behalf. They work for you every step of the way from the start to the finish. Every time your house is shown, they are there. They work very, very hard for that commission They work very, very hard to lower the stress level and make the buying process that much easier. Why wouldn't you list with River Hills in Barnaville, Little Falls, and Utica? Online, it's riverhillspropertiesllc.com, 315-896-1009. Nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties. And if you're in the New Hartford area right now, think about it. The official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Coffee, espresso, lattes, 14 different flavors of lattes, fresh bagels, fresh donuts. Bring a box of coffee to your workplace today. Chuck Sedella, the entire crew of that lightning fast drive-thru. It's Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. WIBX Utica Rome. Enjoy the weekend. It's 9 o'clock.
They survived, huddled in a crevice in the rubble. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A small group of earthquake survivors rescued today in Turkey, but they aren't the only ones pulled out alive after being trapped for about 100 hours. That's when a mother and son were rescued. A baby and 2 older children were also found alive today, but amid those little brief moments of joy, a lot of sorrow. The number of deaths in Turkey and Syria tops 22,000. Tens of thousands left homeless, and amid all the collapsed buildings, a lot of people live outside in the cold winter in tents now. Air raid sirens wailed across Ukraine today as Russia launched a barrage of more than 50 missiles hitting critical infrastructure again. Russia is also cutting oil production, reacting to sanctions imposed as punishment.
Russia's deputy prime minister says they are cutting oil production by 500,000 barrels per day, that they do not sell directly or indirectly to those who observe the price cap of $60 a barrel. That cap was imposed to limit Russian financial gains over oil sales following the invasion of Ukraine.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. 2 people are dead in Israel after a car plowed into a crowded bus stop, also injuring 5 others. One of those killed is a 6-year-old child. An off-duty police officer shot and killed the driver. An arrest in Maryland, ending the manhunt for a suspected gunman in the shootings of 2 Baltimore County police officers. They surrounded him early this morning in a wooded area of a nearby county.
Trying to seclude himself. He was unable to seclude himself from the helicopter.
Harford County Sheriff Jeff Keeler, the officer shot late